Man, oh man, oh man. What a day we've had so far. What a day it has been. Ugh. What's good, world? I've been excited for this for 2 days. We are on the last day of our sprint. We have 0 days remaining, okay? The sprint ends today. It actually ended at 12 a.m. this morning. And technically, we are just going to say the new sprint starts today, so we are not late. Let me turn down these chill beats for a bit. What a day we've had so far. Like, man, it feels like this day has been going on forever. But, all right, let's get into this intro because we got a lot that we got to take care of tonight. So, welcome to the Junkyard. I am your very own combo junkie. That's right. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new here, yes, I am an addict, but I'm addicted to something different than what you might be thinking, okay? I'm addicted to doing the most juiciest, most damaging combos in all of your favorite fighting games, but for a minute, we have put this down, okay? We have said bye-bye to the controller that allows us to do those damaging combos. For now, we've picked this up because we are going to be doing combos with some of the hottest web technologies that exist, okay? That's right. We are doing code work, okay? We are writing code, developing cool tools and projects, and we've been having a lot of fun doing it. I won't lie. We have been struggling a little bit, but we've been kind of breezing along. I don't think we've gotten stuck so much that we've had to dedicate like a whole stream to one topic or something like that. Well, I won't say that. We did just recently run into something that took pretty much the whole stream to figure out, but it was a lot of fun doing it. So what are we doing? What are we doing? For those who are new here, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button first off, okay? Number one focus is make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to, go ahead, throw a subscription my way on Twitch. That would be fantabulous, okay? And if you are having a good time and enjoy this content, make sure you spam the chat with the heart emojis. Those go a long way as well. So what are we doing? Let's head over to our browser and really take a look at what it is we are doing here in the Junkyard. So if we head over to IGN.com, this is the gaming website that we've been using. And what we're going to be doing, okay, for the next few weeks here is we're going to be building ourselves a gaming news website. Okay, so it's going to look a lot like this IGN website where we have a concept of 3 major content types that drive this experience, right? So the first content type, and really the backbone of the whole experience, is something called a story. So as we scroll through this, you can see it looks like narrative content, right? You have the title up here, and then as you come down, you got some data, and then you got Psylocke over here with Deadpool. Like this is obviously a story, like an article that we're reading through. So in order to bring this article to life, right, in order to round it out with all of the things that it requires, we need more than just the story content type, right? We need 2 other content types to complete this thing. The first one being the content type of tag. All right, so you can think of tag as just the thing on your story that tells it where on your website to appear. So if we were to click into this Fortnite tag, for example, we're taken to a section front that Linval, what's up, dude? Welcome to the Junkyard. Hold on, I gotta show Linval some love, okay? I gotta show Linval some love. Welcome to the Junkyard, my guy. Good to have you here, sir. Hopefully the audio is correct. I just heard that horn come out of the speaker instead of out of my headset, which was a little odd. That's interesting. It should be streaming through my. Okay, he says the audio's okay. All right, so we're gonna assume that we're all good. But anyway, so what I'm saying is a tags concept of a tag, right? If you click on it, it goes to a section front that should surface only stories for that category, right? So we got Fortnite here. If you scroll down, though, you'll notice that all we see are Fortnite stories. Okay, all of these things are in some way related to Fortnite. So we'll need a tag content type as well. The final content type that we need to round the story out is the person content type. So you can imagine a story is going to be written by someone, right? By 1 or 2 people, right? So we need this concept of a story. And similar to tags, if you click on a story page, I should see only Adam Bankhurst stories if I click on Adam Bankhurst. So I have a nice image of him here. He has a cover photo, kind of like a profile page on Facebook. You got the bio here, but underneath, you see, I see nothing but teases of his content, right? Of Adam's content. So it's a really cool thing. It's either content that he created himself or content that he at least contributed to. So it'll be a link to another landing page. That is right. It is a link to another landing page. Linval is correct there. So these two things here link to their very own landing pages, right? So for those who were on the stream Monday, you saw that we created the tags page, right? So we have a starting point for the tags template that we're going to be building out today. So that's what we're doing on the stream for the next for the near future, right? For the foreseeable future, actually, we're going to be doing a lot of coding and a lot of development work. That we're not going to be gaming on this stream very much at all, right? If we do game, it's probably going to be some weekend stuff that's not anyway related to the Junkyard experience, if I may. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's head over to our Jira board and kind of see where we are. So today is our last day of the sprint. Woo! We've made it pretty far through the sprint. And we have gotten done quite a bit of work, right? So if you look at this done column here, you can kind of see that we've really done a lot. Let's see, 3, 8, 11, 13, 15, 18, 23 points of work so far, and we have 23, 26, and then 34. So we have 34 points in total that we're on the hook for. And we're almost done, right? So this is where we left off, this enhancing the tags page to leverage data from sanity.io. We completely finished up the look and feel of it, right? So if we head over to Canva real quick, let's just show what the wireframe looks like and where we are right now with our... So if we look here, this was our wireframe, right? And if we head over to the IDE real quick and just fire up that application, let's go ahead and look at this in the browser, we'll see that we have the static pieces that make up that section front, right? So well, that's not right. I'm gonna go back there, but I'll zoom out a bit so this is a little more legible. All right, I think that's good, 125. If I click any of these headlines now, these little topic links, I should get taken to that page in the CMS, right? So, and now you can see here, this is the section front for that tag, and this is kind of what that's going to look like when we bring it to life. But you can see here, we have that design in place. It's static, and we have to make it dynamic, and that's what we'll be doing today, right? We'll be making this beautiful page look a lot more realistic. It'll be populated by actual data from the CMS. Okay, so that's where we are. After that, we are going to take on this spike. The goal is for tonight, even if we have to stay on till 11 p.m. And that's going to be our, we're going to time box it till 11 p.m. tonight if we don't finish everything. But I want to finish both of these tickets, right? The first ticket is just to finish off this page so that it's dynamic. No matter what link you click, you get a section front for these tags and the topics here. And then also, I want to finish this element ticket, right? We're going to enhance that WYSIWYG editor so that not only can you add rich text content, but you can also add our custom elements in line with the story, right? So you can add photos in line, you can add call to action in line. Like as you work through the story, you can add these things in line. And will it be responsive? Question from Linval, will it be responsive? That's a good question. The real question is it responsive already? So I'm going to head over here and I am going to look at this in a mobile viewport and just see what it looks like now. And you can see right off the bat, right? It is not very responsive. There's a couple things that I would want to see happen differently based on viewport, right? Like for example, this looks really good on desktop, but the moment it goes on mobile, we can see that we have too much data. Right, so I'd want to see some truncation on mobile for these. I'd want to see this area here change a bit. Perhaps a different image should be used in cases of a mobile experience. Perhaps this should be 100% width in case of mobile. So we will need to circle back at some point and make our website completely responsive. For now, I don't think we need to focus on that too much. I think the Yeah, that is very ugly. We definitely have to fix that at some point. But for now, we can just say that this is a desktop only experience. That's what we built it in. That's what we built it for. And if we want to extend this to mobile, we can look at that in the future when we get some of these other things figured out. And as a matter of fact, just as far as best practices are concerned, when you're building a website, right, you have to ask yourself, how is this website going to be used? If my audience can only use this website on a desktop, so for example, if I don't have a mobile experience, or if you try and visit my website on a mobile phone, you go to a totally different experience, like a mobile only experience, then you can build everything you're doing on a desktop for desktop only. However, if you know that your client, for example, wants the experience to be as such that they can navigate to it on a cell phone and see a very nice looking site, or navigate to it on a tablet, for example, and see a nice looking site, or navigate to it on a desktop and see a nice looking site, the best practice approach is to go mobile first. Mobile first, because this is a very small viewport. Okay, the reason industry best practice is mobile first is because 9 times out of 10, you can get away with just stacking blocks on top of one another for mobile. You don't need to do any of this 50-50 display stuff. You can basically say, I'm going to have everything stacked one after the other. The only thing you'll probably be on the hook for mobile is like image sizes, image latency, the performance of the images being downloaded. Like for example, this big 1400 by 600 wouldn't fly on mobile. So I would have to have some rules in place that make sure that I'm rendering the most appropriate image for the device that's rendering it. And then as you go up, it gets easier, right? Once your semantic HTML is in place and it looks good on mobile, well then now you can start making rules for tablet. At that point, it becomes just a CSS or a class thing, right? If you're using Tailwind, it just becomes adding various classes to do things at certain viewports, right? So, and then also there's some things in React you can do to support mobile. Linval says, so it's possible to create the website, then make it responsive. No need to do it at the same time while doing the desktop part. Yeah, that's a good point, right? So, and that's where you as a developer can make that decision. Now, since what we're doing is just, we're trying to learn Sanity, NextJS, and React, and we're not necessarily trying to build a real website, we don't care about it being responsive for mobile. As long as it looks good on desktop for us, that meets our goals. But most clients these days won't let that fly, right? If I was doing this for a client, every time they view this, I have to assume that they're, they could be in bed on their phone, right? They could just be scrolling through the site to see the progress on their phone, right? They could be at a lunch on a tablet, showing the client on a tablet, or they could be at their home office on their desktop. So I have to assume going into it, if I'm working with a client, that they will want to see this experience on any device. Now at that point, Linval, you will want to create your project in such a way where you are providing look and feel for every viewport as you go. So before I would have signed off on that, create the carousel ticket, right? Before I sign off and say that that's done, I would have made sure that carousel looked good in mobile, tablet, and desktop. Okay, and that's kind of how I would have proceeded with everything that I built, and that's how most of the work you're going to do as a developer, if it's front end focused, and especially if it's for clients like you're doing contract work, you will be it will be in your best interest to do mobile first design. Okay. Again, we are not here to create a beautiful web. Well, it's going to be beautiful, but we're not here to create a front-end web experience, right? That's not what we're up to. What we're trying to do is learn all about these tools, so that's kind of why we're going to bypass that step. However, we will at some point on this stream make this website behave in mobile. And I'm pretty sure the next website we build, we probably will start it the right way, right? We probably will, once we have all of these tools and skills under our belt, we will build something more realistic. We probably do something as if we're actually building something for a client, right? It won't be this website, it'll be something different. All right, so I think I'm ready to dive in. I think I am so pumped today for what we'll be going through. I'm gonna go right back over to the board here. We will create ourselves a branch. Get a branch going. All right. and let's go ahead and pull that down to our local environment. I'll go ahead and copy that. Head over to the IDE. I'll shut that down. We can shut down these other IDEs as well. And now I'll just do a git fetch. All right, that new branch is now available for me to check out. So I do a git checkout. And there we go. Now we are on that branch. We are ready to start developing. And let's just go back to the browser and just refresh ourselves with where we are with that section page, because we are very far along, right? So if I head back over to the browser, click on this Valle Copios URL, and where we are is we have the full design fleshed out. We have two chunks of data, two chunks of the page that we need to feed data to, right? We have this featured area, which is all about the tag that was clicked. So in this case, VAE Copios was clicked, so I should see VAE Copios, I should see VAE Copios' image, and I should see the summary for VAE Copios. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that, all right, I'd be ready to dive in with you. Oh man, I love that. The next project we do, it'll be a peer programming. We'll do it together on the stream. It'll be a lot of fun. So the next thing I want to do, I want to head back over to the IDE and fire open the Sanity Studio, because I want to see if our tag summaries and tag images would suffice for the space that we have here, that we have available here. So I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit too, just to make sure that doesn't look too crazy when you're out. Yeah, that actually looks fine. This can stand to be a little wider in width. So we'll play around with that when we see how much content we have to work with in each of these tags. So I'm going to come here. I'll open up a new terminal window there. And let's go ahead and drag this over a bit. This is going to be our SSS, which is our Sanity Studio. And there we go. Let's open that up in the browser. And we can see here we have some people, we got some stories, a bunch of stories, and we got some tags. So we're going to click one of these tags. Let's just stick with this Valle Copios. And let's see what we have here. That is a description. Now that description is pretty lengthy. I think that will work. I think that's going to work for what we need to do. I think we're good with the description. Now for the image is definitely too small. Combo, are you a freelancer or working for a company, if it's okay to ask? No, it's totally fine to ask. I think I'm blended in both, right? I think every developer has had those clients come to them and say, hey, I know you do development. Maybe it's someone you worked with in the past, or maybe it's someone from a company that you've done work for before. We've all had that, right? So if me taking on a project makes me a freelancer, then yeah, I call myself a freelancer. I think in that respect, I do a lot of freelance work. I do have a dedicated company though, not my own. Well, I do have a couple companies actually of my own, but nothing that would be a household name. I do work for a company though. I think that it's really healthy for developers to have both a 9-to-5 and have a side venture of some sort, right? And I don't care if this is development, or you're in marketing, or you're a salesperson, or a janitor cleaning hallways in an elementary school. There is never there's never a reason to only focus on one source of income, okay? And this is something that a mentor taught me a while ago, but it's always good to have multiple streams of revenue, because you never know when one of those will get shut down, right? It's not up to us in a lot of cases when our revenue streams get shut down. So always good practice to try and freelance when you can. So yeah, so the long short of that is I do both. I do my own thing, and I also have a dedicated company that I serve for 8 hours a day. Okay, so looking at this, we've deemed that the description is long enough for us to populate that center area here, but the image will not cut it. So let's see how big this image space is. I don't remember what we set it to, but we'll see how big this is. This is about 1400 by 600, it looks like. Let me head back over to the IDE, open up the tag, the create data script, and let's see what we set that tag's image height and width to. If we scroll here, we should have a build tags. Here we go. So here, it looks like we're just doing 800 by 600. That's not going to fly. We're going to make the tag images the same size as our story images. Okay. So let me just go back. I think I just did something crazy there. All right, there we go. So if we go back to the story, which I think is here, we have 1400 by 600. This is conditional, but we don't need that. We'll just say all of our tags are 1400 by 600. All right, so now if I rebuild this, right, if I rerun our script, okay, if I rerun our GC script, it'll first delete all of the existing pieces of content, and then it's going to recreate the content, right? It's going to recreate our stories, recreate our people, etc. Right? So it's running now. And we'll wait till that finishes, and then we'll check back over at the Sanity Studio to make sure that the tag images are now populating like a wider space, right? They should be 1400 in width. And once that is done, we'll now have what we need to get started on our featured area for the tag section. All right. Gonna be one more batch of stories, I believe. Yeah. Got 10 more stories to build. Not a big deal. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna reduce that probably. I don't know if we need it to be that. Oh no, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. That's okay. What I think I'm going to do, guys, is I think I'm actually going to upload 2 images to every story. Check your DM. I don't have one. Oh, yeah, I see it. It just took a while to pop up. It's a really good question, Linval. All right, so that completed successfully. Let's head back over to the site. To the studio. So I'm gonna go back to the IDE. I'll run our SSS command, which is start Sanity Studio. All right, once that fires up, go back over to the browser. And here we want to see that the tags now have the right image width. And what I was gonna say, guys, is I think one thing we need to consider is that, all right, one of 2 things needs to happen. Okay, we're either gonna have to make the featured carousel aspect ratio the same as the story card aspect ratio, or B, going forward, upload 2 images to every story instead of just uploading a featured or a you go to the app so you see what I'm saying. So if we go to the home page, right, remember we have that logic in place now that says you're either going to be a featured story or you're going to be a regular story. If you're a featured story, the width of the image is 1400. If you're a regular story, the width of the image is 800, right? So we have a choice there, right? We can do it like that, or there's some other ways we can do it, right? One other option would be to say, well, every story has 2 images available for you. One image that's available for you is this 1400 pixel image. Another image that's available for you is this 800 pixel image. That's one option. Another option would be to have only one image, but fix the aspect ratio here so that you can use the same image in both of these places. Right now, we can't do that. We probably can do that, but we couldn't do it without doing some weird cropping magic, where we probably cut people, like if it's a portrait shot, we cut someone's head off by accident. So I'm thinking that the easiest way to do it is going to be 2 images per item. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 images per story. One is going to be our featured image, and the other is just going to be the thumbnail. That's what we'll call it. One will be featured image and the other will be thumbnail. So let's go to the code right now and see what it looks like to make that happen in our schema. So I'll go over to the story schema and minimize this just a little bit. And if we scroll all the way to the top, somewhere in here we should see featured image. So here's featured media, okay? And all we need outside of featured media is thumbnail, probably. So it's a really easy thing for us to create. We'll just create a name of thumbnail. Okay, and then it is a type of image element, not media element, because we are not allowing a video to be a thumbnail. Okay, and we'll allow this to be in the featured media section though. Okay. So it looks like we have an error somewhere, and oh, that's that validation thing again. We know that's not real. So we can go ahead and save that. And now if we head back over to the browser, let me see if I can find it. Where is the browser? There it is. Okay. I couldn't find my browser window. That was weird. Okay, if we head back over to the browser, we should see now in the Sanity experience that each of those stories are now equipped with a new media field called thumbnail. So we'll go over to featured media, and you can see we have the featured media check, we have the featured media field set, right? And then now we have this new thumbnail field set. Okay, so it's everything we need to build out our own thumbnail. What do we need here? We need a caption field, and then we'll need the image itself. So now what I want to do is I want to populate these. I want to populate these today, because when we get to this part of the sections, let's go back over to our code. When we get to this part of the sections, we're gonna need to be able to rely on the fact that the image is this square aspect ratio, right? That's really important for this design to work. So we're gonna go do that now. It's gonna take a little minute detour, but let's head over, and the first thing we'll do is we'll enhance our story to also fetch, oh, this is tags. We'll enhance our story to also fetch the additional URL image, right? So what we'll do is we'll say the image asset is gonna be the featured image asset. Okay, so wherever that is right now, there it is right there, image asset. We're gonna change that to featured image asset. So what I'm gonna do to simplify that is I'm gonna get rid of the image dimensions. We're not gonna need that anymore. Okay, we're not gonna need that anymore. We're gonna say for featured. So here, let's do this first. Let's get this, because we know that this is now gonna be no longer conditional, right? It's set in stone. We're gonna say this is gonna be featured image. So let's say featured image URL, and then here for image buffer, we're gonna say featured image buffer. We know that that image URL doesn't exist. That's because it needs to be changed to that. And then image asset, we're gonna say is featured image asset, right? So now if we come back down to our code, we can update image asset to featured image asset. So now all of that works, right? So the next thing we want to do, now that we have this new type of element that we support, we want to be able to say that we can populate it with fake data. So I'm going to come here, and I think we call that thumbnail. So I'll say thumbnail, and then we know that's an object, right? It's going to be an object that looks a lot like this guy. Okay, it's going to look a lot like this, just without the... Actually, it's going to look even closer to tags, right? So we'll go grab the image object from tags. This is way better. This is really what it is. It's this image here. No, Linval, I just read your message. No, you're doing the right thing. Keep churning away at your priorities, and that's you're making the right decisions as a developer. Keep churning away at the things that are important to you right now. All right, so we'll take that, and now that will be our thumbnail object data, right? Basically type of image element. blah, blah, blah. But now we need our image. We need the actual image that we're going to feed into it. So we know we have the featured image, and now we're going to have a regular image as well, right? So we will just take the reference of featured from all 4 of those and convert those back to the old image URL, right? And this time the only difference is going to be that this is going to be, I think it was 600 by 400 maybe. Let me go confirm what that was. Nope. Hang on one second. What was that? 800 by 600. Okay. So this is going to be 800 by 600. So now we have an available image, and let's actually declare what these are, right? This is going to be a featured image, and then this is just going to be the thumbnail. Right, so now we have this available, so we can basically update the reference here to just image asset, which that was already done in the tag array anyway, so we're good there. Let me actually go to the IDE and show you guys what I just did. I hate when I do that, when I'm on the browser, but I'm doing things in the code base. So here, let's go all the way back. All right, so what we needed to do is we want to add the featured, okay, so we had a, actually, I'm gonna go back to the browser and re-explain this just in case I do make this long form content. There we go. So if we head back to the browser, we see that we've added a new image field. And the reason we did that is because we want to be able to support homepage images that appear either here or here, but their aspect ratios are so wildly different that we just said, you know what, instead of doing trickery with the image itself and unintentionally cropping things out weirdly or whatever, we're just gonna have 2 images be uploaded to the content. Publishers will upload a featured image if this is a featured piece of content. They'll upload a featured image, which is gonna be 1400 by 800, or they can upload a thumbnail, right, which is gonna be 800 by 600. Or they can upload both, right? But by doing that, we're guaranteed that regardless of where that story appears, we can support it correctly on the front end of our website. Okay, so to do that, the first thing we needed to do was update our story schema to include this new thumbnail field, right? So it's gonna look just like the featured media field, but instead of it being a media element, this is just going to be an image element. We don't want to give them the option to add a video here. We only want to force images on them here. We'll go ahead and save that, and then I think we're going to have a false positive here. Yep. All right, so now story.ts is good. We'll come back over to create data. Now that we're here, the next step is to make our build story object, like our faker data, make it compatible with the new schema so that when we run this, we get both images added to our content, right? So it's not just adding a single image, it'll add both images to our content. So in our build stories array, the first thing we need to do is we need to get rid of this image dimensions conditional. We'll no longer need that, right? What we're saying is basically, let's say that this first image here, this first image URL is the featured image, right? So what I'll do, I'll use this for a comment block. I'll say featured image. Okay. And then I'm going to update these image references here. I'll just prepend them all with the word featured. Right? That's a lot easier to deal with. Okay. So I'm going to say that's going to be featured. Then we got image there. Right? And then I'm going to do featured. And it's going to be image. And then we'll move this image buffer to where it belongs. Right? And now we have a featured image asset that we can pull from that's always 1400. That's only going to be available in this field here, right? In the featured media field. But now we have a thumbnail field that we also have to take care of. And the thumbnail field is a lot like this guy, right? If we look at this in our tags object, we had an image field that references an image element, and it's the exact same way, right? It references it the same way. So we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to copy this object and move it down here and rename it to thumbnail, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? This is going to be thumbnail. And now you'll notice we have an issue here with the image asset, but that's a really easy fix, right? We can copy it from here, right? We can either copy this, or we can go up to our person, which we know has a 800 by 600, and we can copy that, right? But we'll just copy that. We're developers, right? We don't want to retype everything if we don't have to. So I'm just gonna say thumbnail image, okay? And then there we go. Now we have access to this image asset, which is the right size, and it's getting injected into the right part of the code. So now what we can do is, we don't want to recreate everything. We'll create ourselves one story so we can test this out. So we'll say create me. We can create 2 of each of these. I'll say 3 actually. No, we'll do 2. And then we'll just do one batch of one story. Okay. No, let's do 2 batches because I want to make sure that we don't get any false positives. So I'm gonna kill the studio, do the GC command. That's the alias we built the other night. All right, now it's going to delete any existing people and tags. It's going to generate our new tags and people, and then it's going to want to create the stories. Should just create a couple. All right, that should be done. Yep, that's done. Okay, now we can start Sanity Studio SSS. Our own custom alias, and I advise you guys always create your custom aliases. Okay, they make life way easier for you if you're finding yourself do the same thing over and over again. All right, so let's just see if we did that right on the first try. Featured media. Here is our featured media for the featured media itself, and then here's the thumbnail. So we nailed it. Okay, good job, guys. Good job. That looks beautiful. Okay. No more conditional logic. We did away with that. And this also means that we no longer need to worry about on the home page only serving featured content here. In theory, we can get rid of the featured part of our content altogether now, which I think I will actually. So what I'm saying is I'm gonna get rid of this is featured check. It's no longer necessary, right? We're okay with anything showing up in the carousel. As a matter of fact, I think the way we want to run it is all our top 5 stories, whatever the latest 5 stories is what should show up in our carousel. Okay, I'm actually going to leave the feature check in place because I could see a world where we're saying we want to anchor something to the feature position. If we head back to the IDE, we can at least relieve the query of that extra burden of checking whether or not the content has been designated as featured. Because technically we don't care, right? The only reason we cared about that before was because we had to. It was the only way that we can make sure that images that were the right size were showing up in the carousel. But now we can write it in such a way where only the images that are the right size are the ones that show up in the carousel. It's brilliant. And then the other ones will be the ones that show up in the story body. So we do need to make a couple of changes. First, we'll go into our story wall component, because now we need to change which it's not just featured media anymore, right? We're also going to need to change the fact that thumbnail can be in here. So I'm going to head over to story wall. We'll make sure that stays open. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. It's kind of getting in my way. All right, and then now I'm going to open the queries, right? That's where we housed our queries for these. And for the stories query, this is the actual story wall. For the stories query, I want to do something similar to this, but I want to spit out thumbnail. Okay, so the first step is always to just return it full as is, so you can really understand what it's bringing back. So I'm gonna return that, and then in here I'm gonna return thumbnail. Okay, so that's basically me saying, as part of this projection, which remember this is saying when I get the data back from the query, one of the things I want is the thumbnail value, because I know we have a thumbnail field. And this is saying, since we're destructuring this, you have to explicitly tell me that you're interested in that thumbnail. And now we're just going to do a console.log, because we don't know what's in thumbnail, right? This is our first time using it. So I'm going to expand this a lot, and I'm going to save it so that the thumbnail actually appears here. And here's our thumbnail, right? We have this image element. We have the caption here, which is our portable text. We're going to have to figure out how to deal with that as well. We may just use the alt text instead, so we don't have to figure out the HTML implications here. And then we have our photo, right? So it's just going to be .photo. So that's really easy to deal with, okay? That's really easy to deal with. We can come back here and get rid of this console.log. And now that we know what image we're actually interested in for the story wall, we can use that instead now, right? So instead of featured media and the alt text here, we can just simply change both of these thumbnail. Now, if we head back over to our browser and check out the actual app, we only have one item here, which hoping we have more items than that. Oh, it looks like that. Oh yeah, we only built one thing. So yeah, we only built 2 stories, right? So let's actually go back. I think we're good. I think everything was created successfully. So let's go back to the IDE and create more content for ourselves, right? And this time what we'll do is we will actually, before we create the content, let's alter this query just a little bit for the featured content, right? Because we now want to say that these guys have a limit on what content gets returned. So let's say for the featured content, give me the first 5 stories. So we'll say give me story 0 through 4. That's 5 stories, right? Number 0, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And then we'll say for this one, I want you to start at 4, right? So start at index, no, not start at index 4, start at index 5. And I wonder what the syntax is to just 5 and beyond. Let's go use the Grok cheat sheet to find out how to say anything starting at 5 and beyond, right? So I'm gonna go to the Grok cheat sheet. I think I have it bookmarked, but I always type it in there for some reason. You see. First 6 movies, first 5. Oh, so this is non-inclusive. I like that. First 10, offset by 10. First 10 movie titles. How did they do the... Yeah, but then how do you do the rest? That's odd. I thought they would have had an easier way to do that. Oh, maybe this is it? Maybe it's $end? All right, we have to play around with that real quick. Let's do this. Let's generate our content. Let's go back to the IDE. We're gonna generate more content here. We don't need a bunch. Let's just say we'll do, 5 people, 5 tags, 2 batches of, let's say we'll do 10 stories total. And what we want to see is that we can do, actually let's do the 20 stories that we were doing originally. But what we want to see here is that we can paginate basically. I want to be able to say that on the featured carousel, we get 5 pieces of content. So you get item 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then starting at item number 6 would be the story wall, right? I want the story wall to start with item number 6. You know what I hate? I hate when I realize way late in the stream that my video wasn't on. Wait, has it been that way for the browser too? Yeah, it's been that way for the browser. Man, the alerts aren't on. This is crazy. That means the chat's not showing up. When I'm recording offline, I use the same application that I use to stream. So I have to shut off the alerts and the webcam and stuff so I can record the video, but I always forget to turn it back on when I'm streaming again. It's funny. All right, but this shouldn't be too bad, guys. Once this content has been generated, we can head over to the vision board to confirm that our query works, or we can do it here. It doesn't matter. We just want to be able to say, and I think they said it's $and here, which I don't know what that like where that comes from, but you know that's what they say we should use, so that's what we'll use. I'm guessing $end is one of their like, yeah. So it says limit offset using external params, right? So I think that these are things that they set up for you behind the scenes that you just can access in your Grok queries. And if I had to guess, end would represent wherever your content ended at, right? Because if you know, like if you're doing pagination like infinite scroll, then you know what the end number is, right? You know what that number is. But if you don't know what end is, if you don't know how many items you have, then I think this is their way of telling you how many items are returned in a payload and how many items you'll get back. I'm guessing there, but you know that's my hunch. All right, going back to the IDE, we can see that this finished successfully. Let's go ahead and start the Sanity Studio SSS. And then we'll open that, head back over to the browser here, and let's first make sure we have all our stories. Okay, that's about 20. And let's click into them and make sure we have all of the data. So if we go to featured media here, we have both images. That's really all I care about. And now we'll head over to Vision. And I'm going to head to the IDE. I'm going to grab this query, this Grok query. And yeah, I think this is all fine and dandy. It looks like we are, yeah, dude, I love that about this system. You're able to literally use it as is. Like, I don't think I have to edit any of that when I head over to the Vision board and rerun it. So let's just take that for a spin. All right, if I hit fetch, do I get results? Ah, man, that would have been cool. Okay, so but it's complaining about the thing that we were curious about anyway, right? So let's see what we have to do. So we're saying underscore type is story, and defined is, well, we have a slug, and this isn't a draft, and this. We can get rid of the featured flag. We don't care about that anymore. And then $end didn't work. Okay. So that didn't work. That was a little disappointing. So I guess they don't just say, give me everything. There has to be a way, though, to say, give me everything starting at this number. Everything, all documents. So it counts how many items are in a. I think we could do something with that. If count is a variable that we can use, because yeah, this is being returned actually, so we could probably use this. Like inside of the Grok query, you can use other, you can like reference Grok variables if I'm not mistaken. Here's arithmetic. Yeah, that didn't quite do it for me there. Slice operations, yeah, that didn't do it for me either. Because really what we need to say now is that we want the start. Oh, I know what we can do. I think I know what we can do at least. I think I know what we can do. I think I know what we can do. Let me see. Let me get an example of one of the nested conditionals. Yeah, so here we go. I think we can do this. All right, so let's go back to the Vision board. What I think we can do here, and I know this is going to look crazy, but I actually think we can do open parentheses, counts, open parentheses, and then give me basically this again. Right? Give me anything where I think I actually need I need the syntax too, so it's gonna have to be that, and then nest this inside of here. Right, I think this might work. I don't know for sure, guys. Okay, I am guessing here, but just trying to understand how this works. I think this might work. So expected expression. So it's missing one of the. And that looks like it there, right? Oh, the and needs to go away. Okay, so I can't it's not letting me use that as an integer. What it looks like. Let me try and add one more surrounding. Yeah, no, it's definitely grouped. It's definitely grouped. All right, so there, it's just not letting me do that. And I'm guessing dot dot nothing doesn't work either. The close is unexpected. Yeah, that's not working. So, but if I were to add like 99 here, yeah, it's gonna give me everything back now, right? Starting at 5, so I get 15 items. There has to be a way to say, give me everything at a, like starting at a certain point, right? Without declaring the point that you want to start at. I mean, the other thing that you could do is you could load up all the data. You could load it all up in one query, right? You could say, give me everything in a single query. So you could essentially, like if we come back to the IDE, we could say that there's just one stories query, and that data is what gets passed back down to the story wall. But in here, in the story wall, you can slice this out so that it's only the first 5 elements. I don't love that, but I don't hate it either. Because then if we go back to the page, right, story wall, these would both take the same variable. And I mean, these queries are running, right? So I can actually do this logic up here. Yeah, let's actually do it that way. Let's do it that way. Let's find out grab only first 5 items ES 6. Yep, so array slice, right? 0 through n. To get the first n elements of an array, use that. And then let's see how to get the elements from specific. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's going to be array slice. Array slice, right? Let's head back over to the browser. So what I was just looking at is Stack Overflow here showed me that if we wanted to just quickly just get the first 5 elements, it's array.slice starting at index 0 going to index 5. So it's going to be something similar here if I want to get the like between items 5 and the rest of the array, right? So we'll play around with that real quick, but first let's go to Stack Overflow and let's just do a search for array slice JavaScript. So we can see what the syntax is for this. All right, so it's just start and end. No way. Is it really just start and end? I didn't know it was just start and end. I thought there were other parameters you could pass to it. All right, no, that's really easy then. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the IDE. We're gonna do some logging here just to kind of make sure we have our ducks in a row. Where are we? Okay, so we're still compiled. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say console.log And let's first go get rid of the featured stories. We don't need this anymore. So I'm going to delete this. And we're going to delete any conditionalizing of the stories from here, right? We want all the stories. Okay, we're going to say, give me every story in our system. And then in pages now, we're going to get rid of this feature stories query. We don't need it anymore. And now here, we're just going to say both of these get stories.data for now, just to solve the error that we had. And it looks like another error is happening somewhere else. Oh, maybe it's just the fact that we have an empty console log here. Right, something's not. Oh, what the heck? Then I don't know how that happened. Okay, so that's really what we need. All right, so we're back in business. So now what we'll do is we'll say console log stories. I want to see if I do stories.slice starting at 0, go to 5. Okay, if this works, then I could say stories is not an array. So all right, let's just dump stories then. Wait, stories is an array. Oh wait, I think I have to do. Let's do const featured stories equals stories dot slice. All right, and this is saying it doesn't like it. Oh, I have to see how they want me to do it because this is their type, right? This is one of their sanity document types, and I don't know if it's an iterable. No, it has to be, right? Because I can do map on it, right? Oh, this should totally work. Maybe there's something in here that I can use to get only the number of items back that I want. Because in this queries, right, in here, so now let's actually look in here. Bold query. And there's nothing here that would allow me to say, huh. Here, let's do this. Let's say, do you have any advice to learn Java? Oh, Java is a beast. Java is a beast. JavaScript is what you see me writing in now. Java, if I had to give you some advice on that, I will say Java is a little easier to pick up overall because it's so strict in its typecasting. And you can't really do a lot that you aren't supposed to. Like, you'll see red squigglies all over the place, and if you do something wrong, you just won't be able to compile, period, right? That they're really strict that way. But yeah, if I had some advice, I'd say read, or watch tutorials. Like, there's nothing better than a Udemy course or a LinkedIn Learning course to kind of get your beak wet on the language at hand. Java being one of the oldest languages around, right? It's one of the grandfathered languages right now. So they have, I'm pretty sure they have a really robust community and a lot of tools and resources to help you get up to speed on it. So yeah, that's kind of how I would look at that. All right, so I think I found out what I'm doing wrong. And I'm crazy for this, but I think that was what we were doing wrong. It's stories.data. Hold on, let me go back to the IDE. It's stories.data, guys, okay? It's not just stories. Stories is the sanity document. Data is the thing that houses all the array of objects. It's right here in front of our screen, right? It's data. So I needed to slice that. So if I wanted just 3 items, right? If I wanted just the first 3 items, I could do a that.length, right? length. And what should get spit out here is the number 3, okay? If I do 0 through 5, I should get the number 5 here. What this is saying is I'm gonna give you the 0th index item, the first index, the second index, the third index, and the 4th index. That's 5 items total. I'm gonna give you between 0 and 5, right? So starting at 0, but I'm not gonna include number 5. You're gonna get basically items 0 through 4. And when you're working with computing counting, like arrays and such, it always starts at 0. It doesn't start at 1, which is a little semantically weird, but all right, so we're gonna say our feature stories is this, right? So that's good. And then our so we're gonna call this the story data, okay? And then now we're gonna make another stories variable, and we're gonna say that this is going to start at 4. No, it needs to start at the 5th index because we have the 4th index in the previous one. And we're just gonna say that's all. Just start at the 5th index. Let's see if that works. I don't know if that's gonna work necessarily, but let's see if that works. So we'll do this. This is gonna be story data dot data. Okay. All right, and do we have an error? Yeah, we do have some kind of error here. Oh, I think I just need to pass feature stories now because the dot data is okay. So now, all right. So I think that's good. So now here, let's do this though. Let's just dump out feature stories and see what we get back here. Yep, so we get all of the stories back here. Okay, cool. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure stories is spitting out what I want, right? So how do I want to do that? How do I want to do that? Let's do this. Let's do a stories.map. And then we'll do I think it's just going to be story index. Yep, just like that. And we need to close this off. Okay, and then now what I'll do is console.log story.title. Right, that should exist. Okay, so now we should see a bunch of titles. I'm gonna get rid of this because that's gonna keep confusing us. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 titles. That's wrong. So this is not correct, right? Let's find out in the documentation for array slice how to just get everything but the like starting at this and give me everything beyond. I don't know how to write that yet. So let's just do array slice. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? But it's not doing that for us. It says that it will extract to the end, to the last item, but stories is not Like, I would have expected more than just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items here. How many items did I create? Did I only create 10? Create data. No, I should have 20 items total. So here, let's do this. Let's go back here. Let's look at story data.data. Let's see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 here. Wait, is Slice actually like deleting content or something? Yeah, dude, that's like not enough content. Let me see. Something may have happened there. Oh wait, I think I still. I'm so silly. I think I still have that featured conditional. Yeah, I still have the featured conditional here. So now this will give me everything back. Yeah, there's all 20. I'm so silly. All right, cool. Sorry about that. All right, then we can uncomment that out, and then we can turn this back to, let's say, featured stories, and just make sure that we are getting back 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then now for stories, make sure we're getting back everything else. Right, so it should be 15 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, all right, cool. So we're good there. So now we can re-expose these components, and we're done, right? We should be done with our upgrade to the story wall. So let's head back over to the IDE. Get rid of all this. We don't need this anymore. And now there we go. Story wall looks great, right? Doesn't matter what shows up here. They're always going to look fantastic, these images. And then anything down the page is going to look good as well. Okay, so we are good there. Perfect. All right. That being said, now we can head over to the section front and make this dynamic. So the first thing we got to do is let's pull in this tag, right? We need to do the tag query. In order to do that, we need to use the slug to figure out what that tag is. So let's head over to the... I wonder if we can wing this. I think I might know how to write this query. I bet we can use Grok's cheat sheet to tell us how to get something by slug. So let's see. I'm just gonna do a find for slug. Yeah, slug.current is what it is. It's equal to some slug, right? So slug.current is gonna have to be equal to whatever the current slug is on that page, right? So basically, if we come over to queries, I need to pass down the slug variable. I need to, this needs to be a function that takes a variable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an export const. Let's go back over to the IDE. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do an export const, and then I'm going to call this tag query. But I'm not going to make it a no, I'm going to export function. Export function tag. Let's say get tag. And then this is going to take, yep, exactly. It's going to take a slug, which is a string. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to return, damn, they're good, dude. Ah, they're good at this. There's always ever going to be one tag. I don't know why they have the 0 here, but where the tag, where the current slug is equal to, yeah, dude, that is exactly what we want to do. And then I'll say this is going to be return the tag, the given slug. Yep, I love tab 9. If you haven't used it yet, you have to use it. It's so good. All right, so now we're going to go over to our slug page because we need to be able to pass that to it. But for now, we can at least see if that page is working as expected, right? So it's going to be the section page. It's going to be this guy here. And inside of here, what I want to do is I just want to do a console.log of the params.slug. Okay, I just want to make sure that is appearing as expected. And it looks like I put that in the wrong place, which I did. And we do have the slug, okay? So now what I can do is I could say let basically this, right? So let's, where'd it go? They just had it up. There it is. I can do this, okay? And I can say let tag equals await load query sanity document, and then I can call this tag query. Oh, that's interesting. Let me go back to the page. I need to see how they did that. Because the thing that they want is the actual query, and we are returning a query though. So all we need to do is pass in. Okay, I got it. All right, I think we just need to do, let's actually do this the same way the other one looks. Let's do get tag here. And then we'll need to import this into the other page. So let's go do that first. All right, it's gonna be this guy, needs to live in here. And then let's say this is get tag. Okay, and then now we need that same query, which is here. Need that, right? It's gonna be just tag. It's equal to all of that. It's going to be get underscore tag, and then we're going to pass it the exactly like that, I think. And I need sanity documents. I need load query. Okay, and then I need this to be async, I believe. Export default async. There we go. And then now get tag is the only one that's wrong because I don't think it works that way. I think you pass them with objects. Yeah, it's like that. Okay, I guess not. What? What are they saying here? Assignment of type slug string is not. Oh, wait, I think it's not an object. I think it's literally just. What did I say I was expecting here? Yeah, I was just expecting the slug itself. So there we go. So now if I console log tag, we should actually see something. Oh, it didn't run. There's still an error here. All right, hang on. I'm going to get rid of this a little bit, make this a lot bigger. We're getting there, guys. We're almost there. Okay, what are they saying here? This is the old error. So now we're saying, all right, we're going to need to clear this. All right, let's do. There was an error somewhere. Oh, I have to hit a topics page. Let's go here. All right, here we go. Param slug reference but not provided. Oh, I have to provide that. I think you do it here, right? I think you say slug is equal to slug. Right? So we actually can just say the word slug here. How do you provide it? I forget how to provide it. Here, let's find out from the cheat sheet. I can't remember how to do it. Have to tell it what that variable is, but yeah, I don't remember how to do it. Wait, but these are backticks, right? Can I just do a can I just use ES6 for this? Like, does that work for this or no? No, I wouldn't need that. I wouldn't even need that, right? It would just be slug. Yeah, so that worked. I actually want to dump this though. I want to see what this string is. See, that can't be right because we know there's something in that array. So maybe it is slug then. Maybe I do need to pass it here. Here, let's try that. Let's try passing it here. So let's get that page back up and running. Wait, did I already have it running? I'm just gonna close that out too. 3000 is in use where? I don't have it open. I don't know where 3000 is in use at. Definitely didn't have it open. Alright, just clicking on one of these topics pages now. Alright, let's go back to the IDE and see how to use get tag here. Yeah, I think it's this, guys. I think that's what we have to do. Like, I think we somehow have to like pass it in to the get tag function, like that. Maybe. But I know this only is expecting a string, right? Like, what's happening? This is so weird. How do I use the variable here? Do I need more backticks? No, that doesn't make sense. Alright, we're gonna need some help here. Because I know this is it. I'm almost certain this is how you do it. But we need a way to pass that slug in. So this is gonna be like params.slug. Yeah, that's still null because it's saying param slug reference but not provided. So let's just go back to the browser and do a search for that, like reference but not provided. See what they see how to fix that. So the query and then the thing you're passing to the query. Okay, cool. So we actually don't need the variable there. So if we come back to queries, right, the fix is to do something similar to this, where we're saying, actually, I'll just do export const tags query. Nope, that's not what I want. There we go. So this is what I want here. Give me anything where the tag, the tag has the current slug, and then what you do, I'm guessing what you do here is you import this instead, and then now here you can pass it and then pass extra stuff to it. Yep, and that got it for us, right? Yay! That was actually kind of tricky. Okay, so now that we have the tag, what needs the tag, right? The first thing that needs the tag is the featured card. So here we'll say tag is equal to tag.data. And then we'll go make featured card accept that transaction. So if we go into, go into story wall here, Wait, where was story wall here? Card needs to look something like this, right? We'll say that actually becomes tag, and it's a single sanity document, I think. Okay, that worked. Now I should be able to do things like tag.title. So tag.title. Or is it tag 0 title? Yeah, so tag is still a something I need to map. But there's always only one. I could have sworn the doc said if there's only one, then it'll only send you one. Yeah, I think it's going to be tag 0.type. Let's actually just see what they're giving me back, because I would rather have there, so we close that. I'd rather have the correct data here. So it looks like it's an object. An array of objects? There's the first one. Getting it back twice. This is the latest one I did. Yeah, and it's just an object. It's an object of the word data, but I thought I was, yeah, so that would be tag.data. And then that goes right into it, right? Data goes right into the object referencing. Here, let's just spit it out. Let's stop guessing. So let's undo that. And then what we'll do is here, just before the return, we'll do console.log tag. Okay. Can't beat that. All right, yeah, that totally should work. I should be able to do tag.title right here. And then here I can just do sanity document or any. It's something with the tag variable right now that I have to figure out. Like if this was any, I'm pretty sure this would work. Maybe it's just a single sanity. There it is. It's just a single sanity document, so I can't use the array markup there. But now that I am using the sanity document singular, then now tag.title works, right? So if we come here, let's actually go to the browser and see what that looks like. So I'm gonna, yeah, that should be available. I'll close this. Yep, and there's our tag title. So now this is gonna need to be something else though, right? Because we can't have HTML floating in this box right here. So let's actually go back to our studio and see what other resource we have to populate that. Like maybe we have a description or a summary that we can pull from. If we don't, we need to create one because we can't only have an HTML description there. We need something for teasing purposes. Yeah, it is description, huh? Well, let's see what description looks like in that box. What I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna say, what if there are multiple paragraphs here? All right, so what you guys didn't see me just do is I just created clones of these paragraphs, and I want to see what if there's like 3 or 4. So I'm gonna go back to the browser and check that out. And that doesn't look great. Not even a little. It does not look great. So we have a description, but what else would we be? Yeah, that it wouldn't make sense. I suppose what we could do is just say, no, you definitely need the description. You definitely need the description. Go back to the IDE and see what our options are here. All right, looks like we're gonna have to figure out how to render portable text after all. So let's go do that. Let's go back to the browser. Let's do a test check for portable text. Let's just say portable text. No, let's go to the docs actually. Let's go to the actual documentation. Alright, so I think it's going to be this, and I think it's going to be React, right? Yeah, it's going to be React. Portable text React, and then the array of portable text blocks, and then an object of custom components to use, and then we can style them as well. My portable text components. Then they have a types. If it's image, I want you to use this HTML. If it's call to action, nice. We can actually supply it HTML to use. This is pretty cool. And then if it's marks, what the heck is marks? Let's find out what we have in ours. I don't remember. But we did just have an example of a portable text in there. All right, let's spit out our portable text, guys. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Time to learn how to deal with portable text anyway. So let's do console.log, and then we'll do tag.description. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So now we look at this. So it's a marks definition, a type of block, and then normal. So these are the individual paragraphs, I'm guessing, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 paragraphs in that one tag. So if we head over to Sanity and we look at Deputo, 1, 2, 3. We only have 3 there. What section are we on right now? We're on Solvo. We're on Solvo. So let's go to the browser, let's look at Solvo, and then let's count these paragraphs. There's 1, 2, 3, yeah, there are 4. So those denote each individual paragraph. So the way they're saying we should handle it is if the type is based on the type. And if we go back to the IDE, what are our types? Our types are just block. Our types are just block right now. So I'm guessing the children is the text. Let's go back to the web and see how they're dealing with it. Oh, so we can actually do our own React components for these if we wanted to. Like actually display a full-blown image, for example, image component in there. That's actually pretty neat. So here we go. This is what we want, right? So we want block, and then we want p tags in there. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll say, here, let's just test this out, right? I don't know if it'll live here. We'll probably import this from somewhere that we exported, but let's go back to the IDE. We'll head over to, bring this down a bit. This is really cool, actually. This is really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is gonna be our, let's call this our text component or paragraph component. okay? And then we'll do components block P. And then we'll extract children, which why am I not able to do that? Implicitly has an any type, so that's okay. Can I just do any? Yeah, all right. And then here we'll do P, class name. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then do children P. Okay, and then we'll get rid of block quote and custom heading. We don't need either of those. So now, if I were to leverage my portable text, I should be able to pass in this component as the declarative. So let's go back to the browser. Let's look at how they are instantiating it. So they have their component, has its value, right? So it's portable text, its value, and then the components, right? So if I come back to the IDE, I can now come here under the H1, pop in portable text. It's not prop.value, it's actually going to be tag.description. Description. Okay, and then this is going to be components. And then now portable text just needs to be imported from React. Whoops. But if I come to the browser, it should be in here somewhere. Where's my import? Here we go. Okay, and then now I'll just import that. That looks good. Let's get rid of our fake lorem ipsum. And let's see what that looks like on the site. All right, it worked. Okay, so now we can style that up, right? We can style that paragraph tag up. So if we go to the IDE, here we can say we don't want it to be text. We just want it to be text white. We know we want text white. We know we want maybe padding bottom 4. Hang on, let's see if that's working. No, it's not. We're getting the text, but it doesn't have our classes on it. And that's doing H1. No, that's the H1 we want. We want this to be getting a class though, and it's not. So if we go to the IDE, hang on, let me go back to what they had before. Well, no, I'm not gonna go all the way back. I'll just go to the browser. So if I go browser, let's go here. Let's see how they do. Alright, so it should be in here. Oh, did I do? Oh, that's right. I'm actually surprised that didn't work. What if we just did P? What if instead of doing the other things, we only did P? Let me see how they did marks. Yeah, let me try marks. Let me try marks. I'm gonna try marks here instead of blocks. No, that didn't do it either. Let's just try their code exactly then. I'm gonna try theirs exactly. Because we know ours is a type of block, right? It's definitely a type of block. So I'm gonna try this. I'll just use the whole thing, and then we'll go back to the IDE, and we'll see if we do this. Do we get our children to look like theirs? We're getting an error there on the children object, but that's fine. We'll come back to that later. But no, yeah, we're getting forced into these paragraph tags here. At least this is right, but it's not letting us. All right, so let's not use that documentation. Let's actually go to Sanities. If they have any HTML examples in here, they don't. All right, let's say render Portable render portable text sanity.io. So this is the regular documentation. Here it is. Sending portable text. Nope, this kind of puts us right back where we were, doesn't it? Here it is. Here's another example. Here we go. Portable text are the components. And here's our components. They have types code. This is what made me think P would work. Showing references, deserialization. No, this would, but customizing block content. Tail checking. This is not what we want, though. This is inside the actual UI. We don't care for that right now. Yeah, this is in the UI. I want to actually see. Like, the question is, what exactly is in that HTML? Let's go back to the IDE and see in the vision board what was there. Not IDE, but in the Sanity UI and see. Like, for each of these, what do we have in children? Oh, it's text. Alright, so it's text. Alright, fine. I got it. I think I got it. Okay. So we can actually say for let me think about this. I think it's going to be block and then text and then children any, right? So children string. No. That's weird that that's not working, by the way. But let's just see if that does it. At least what I want to see is that H1s are being wrapped around those blocks. Those individual blocks or individual paragraphs for us, but that's not happening. Let me do one thing. I just want to go back to the home page and see if we click on a different section. Would that work? Yeah, this is totally a different description here. All right, that's fine. Let's think about this. Customizing. Default components are ready for all standard features. With logical HTML defaults, you can pass an object of components to use both to override the defaults and to provide. Well, provided components will be merged with the defaults. In other words, you only need to provide the things you want to override. So would I just be overriding types at P? An object of React component renders different types of objects that might appear both as part of the input array or as inline objects with text box alongside text spans. Use the isInline property to check whether or not this is an inline object or a block. The object has the shape type name React component where type name is the value set in individual underscore type attribute. So in theory, if I do types of text Let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. Maybe we have to declare that we want to edit the types of text. And now if we see a bunch of H1s, then it worked. But we don't see a bunch of H1s. We see just our paragraph tags. That's still not working. Maybe it's block text. It's block. Then text. I think I just tried that though. This is a this is interesting. Yeah, so let's go find our slug real quick. Oh, we're not working on it. Alright, Solvo, is that where we are? No, we're at absence. Wow, ours would be the very last one on the list, jeez. Alright, we're just gonna, whatever 0 is, that's the one. Oh, that's because this is the type of story. We'll do only slug. I'm in a vision board right now. Just trying to simplify what we're looking for. So I'm gonna do a projection that says, hey, give me only the slugs. So we're in absence right now. So we're gonna say where slug.current. So we'll say and slug.current is equal to this guy. I don't care about the draft state. Oh. Alright, so we have that, and now instead of just giving me slug, I also want description. Okay, so now we have, oh, it's a style of normal. It's a style of normal. The heck is that? But if I do a search here for normal, normal being the default. So, I mean, do I have to do that? Like, am I on a hook for saying normal for the style there? Because it looks like block is involved, right? The type is block. So then inside of that, do I have to say, declare a normal style? Let's see. So the type is block. If we change this to normal, just a little confusing. Yeah, that worked. Now that got that right. Okay, cool. We got it, guys. We got it. That worked. Okay, so now we come back here. We can say this is going to be paragraph tags. And then we'll say we want the text to be white. We don't need to do that though, because I think that's going to be assumed. And then we'll just do padding, margin bottom 2. And that should put some space in between our paragraphs. Yep, it does. All right, so that looks good. Okay, so we now know how to extract the text from these HTML blocks. And we don't plan on, at least we don't in the foreseeable future, plan on making these any more HTML, any truncation or anything like that. We don't plan on truncating these. So I'm gonna head back over to the home page and click through the other different pages, and that looks good. That looks good. So Deputo, let's see, Confido, that looks really good. Okay, cool. That looks really good. I'm okay with that. You can kind of clearly see where the, I'm gonna bump that to a 3 instead of just doing 2. So I'll go back to the IDE. I'm gonna bump that to a 3. You are an infinite scroll. One of my friends. One of my friends said, "I am an infinite scroll." Thank you. Why? Thank you. Why is that not working? Wait, go back to that. Go back to that. That should not be erroring out. Oh, I see. Okay, so now we're good there. Let's go back over to our featured card here. And what we want to do now is we want to change this to margin bottom 3 and just see if that added space makes a difference. It kind of does. I don't know if we need it, to be honest. I'm gonna have it anchored closer to the top so that we don't get in this situation that we're in right now where it actually bleeds outside of the well. There's another option I have here that I'm not gonna entertain, which is to make this a scrollable. I don't think these will ever get so long that they need to scroll. At least not enough for us to write any code for it right now. But yeah, I'm just gonna make it start higher at the top. So I'll come here, see where this is starting. This is top 1/4. I'm gonna see if I can do better than that. So I'll go to Tailwind and see what my options are there. And that's gonna be our top, left, right, center rules. So I'll just do top. And then here, it looks like, where's 1/4? Was it 1-4? Top 1, yeah, top 1/4. What? That might not be the right, no, it wouldn't be that either. It's totally here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I want to go even lower than that though. Here, let's just see what we have for top. There's 0 pixels. Let's see. 1 pixel, 4 pixels. Let's do something like, I don't know, 16 pixels. Or 20. Let's do 20. Let's do top 5. All right, we'll do top 5 here. Let's go back to the browser. 5 isn't good enough. Let's go a lot bigger than that. Maybe double that actually. Yeah, top 32, so top 8. All right, top 8. Browser. Here. Still really. See. I'll do top 14. That's okay. That's good enough. All right. So now if we head back over to the home page, let's look at the other ones. This was the really long one. That looks okay. Where's the C word? Oh, that's Ovo is big. Debuto. All right, that's not bad. I'm not too mad about that. Yeah, see, this is our by far our longest one, and that looks fine. Okay, so now for our image, that should be easy actually. Yo, what's good, 48? What's good, bro? CJ IRL in the building. What's good? What's good? We cranking through this, man. We making some good progress on this last ticket here. We just got to get this image in, and then we should be good. In theory, we can use the same logic that we used on our, because it should be just .photo and all text. All of that should be at the top level of this, right? So if we do this with spit that out real quick and confirm. Yeah, it's all top level. Dot title, dot photo, yeah, it's all there. So what I want to do now is I want to go over to our featured carousel, grab this guy, back over to card, and let's just put him here for now. We know that those are going to be incorrect, but the width 1400 by 600 is correct. And then instead of this, it's going to be, I think, just tag.photo. And then we need those methods to be imported. So grab this. And I'm going to correct that, by the way. That this is a really odd way to handle that. We need to fix that. So we're going to need the image builder and the client creation stuff. There we go. And then we need a client, which is probably, yep, that's defined. And again, this is something that we're going to be sharing across the board, right? So like all of this that I just added should be tucked away nice and neat in a single like export of some sort, right? Where I can just export everything that I need, because really all I need is URL 4, right? So if I had a file that was like a utility that was like get URL, okay? It could even be called URL 4, and that method would have imported all of this stuff, okay? And it still would all it would care about is a source, and it would give you back everything you need. As a matter of fact, just to put that to the test, let's see how cool I am. I'm gonna try and do that. So utils, not a bad place to go do it. Utils isn't the worst place to do that, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna do it in here. And I'm going to grab the URL, the client builder, the client data, all of this stuff. I'm gonna cut this out of here, and I'm gonna actually add it up here. Okay, and then now I'm gonna export this function, URL 4, and now what I'm gonna do is import it here. So I'm gonna import the what did I call that? URL 4 from lib.ts. Yep. Okay, and then now if I've done it correctly, I should be able to use it normally here without getting any errors. So let me see, something's not working here. I think it's this. Yep, so all right, we got some error. Tag.photo doesn't really like that, does it? Let's see, is it tag.photo? Let's comment this out for now. Yeah, tag.photo is undefined, so we actually need to see what that looks like. Alright, so there's our type, our description. Oh, it's .image, .image.photo. .image.photo. So it's tag.image.photo. And then it's going to be tag.image.alttext. And there's a few things off as well. All right, let's spit that out though and make sure that that's right. And then I'll comment this out again. Caption. Yeah, it's definitely photo. Oh, there's no alt text, which is a little strange. Oh, there is alt text. .photo.asset maybe? Let me see what I did for the story wall. No, we stopped at .photo. We definitely stopped at .photo. So we identify the image and then we stop at .photo. So there could be something off with the fact that I don't have those functions in here anymore. Maybe I need to save the utils. Maybe I never saved utils. All right, let me see if that does it. I didn't save utils, so it could be that, but I'm a little skeptical. Okay, that was it. All right, cool. So now if I get rid of this, go ahead and save that. And now if we head back to the browser, we should be able to see, yes, this is the actual image now for that tag. Let's head over to some other ones. De puto. There we go. Give me that beautiful image. Asina, whatever that says. Yay, looks great. All right, let's move on to the storybook. I mean, the story drawer. What do we call it? The story bank. All right, clickety clank, clickety clank. The money goes into my story bank. All right, that's okay. And then we're also gonna do normal components is what we're gonna call this. We're gonna call this normal components. And then what we're gonna do is we are going to add this here as an export. We're gonna export this constant. Now, we need these things. It looks like we're missing something here. What happened? Oh, it needs to be TSX if I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it would need to be a TSX file if I'm gonna start passing HTML around. So this needs to be normal components. There we go. All right, so now we are officially done with this part of the site. Let's move on to our story bank, our clickety clank, clickety clank. All right, and now our query is gonna be give me anything where my tag, give me any story that has my tag, right? Give me any story that's been tagged with my tag. So let's go back to the browser and find out how to, oh wait, you guys weren't in the UI with me, the IDE with me. Let's go to the browser and find out how to do that. Okay, so there is some issues going here. Failed to read source from, all right, let's go see what's not working there. Maybe TSX is only used for maybe TSX can only be used for components. Like maybe you can't just export like actual constants from .tsx files. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, this is accepting it, but I think it has something to do with the TSX extension. Well, hang on. There must be a way for me to do this HTML though, right? Is there a way for me to do the HTML? Hang on. I don't know if that's true. All right, well, where else do I need it is a question. So if I need it here, because the error right now that we're seeing is that something doesn't exist somewhere, right? So syntax error, blah blah blah. Let's see what's on the site again. So the site is saying failed to read source code from the utils.ts caused by no such file or directory, OS error 2. So wait, where am I calling utils.ts though? So that means that I'm referencing it directly somehow. I mean, do I need to just say .tsx? Nah, yeah, that wouldn't make sense, right? It almost feels like somewhere I'm actually calling out that it has to be utils.ts. But that doesn't make sense though, right? One thing I will say is the .ts files that I have seen, I haven't seen an example of them passing around. When you use .tsx, it's usually when you're passing around components. But technically, so hang on, let me think about this, guys. Because there's no doubt in my mind now that this is what's causing the error, right? Failed to read source from... What is calling that? Oh, drawer.tsx is calling it? Let me find... Let me see. What's up, Lucky? Oh, I might have lost Lucky. Yeah, it's not letting us do it. That's fine. I'm just gonna go back to .ts. I don't know where I did that though. I don't know where I actually called that out. Like, I genuinely don't remember or don't know of a place that actually says, hey, look in utils.ts. It must be in some kind of configuration, right? It would have to live that way, but I just don't know where. Darn. Because we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that same feature, right? We're gonna need that in multiple places. Hang on, let's find out from the browser how they want you to organize that. Yeah, let's look in here and see how they want you to organize these. There's no way they'll make you constantly define this over and over again. That just doesn't make sense. I suppose you could just define this in a TSX file, right? Yeah, I suppose you could do that. It just doesn't make sense though. It still doesn't make sense to me. So here, let me try something else then. Let's try, instead of utils.ts, I'll pull this out, right? And we'll just do .ts here, so that should work. And then what I'll do is inside of another TSX file, right? So I'll do, let's call this portable text.tsx, right? And then here what I'll do is I'll just paste this in here, export that constant, and then let's see now if I can get my hands on normal components from that lib directory, right? So we know that's not normal components, but normal where is it? Portable text. Let's call it portable text util. Alright, and then now I want to see if I import that, right? So if I import portable text util, did I call it normal components? Yeah. Alright, we'll just say normal component singular. Okay, and then now he's getting complaints, right? What is his complaint now? Oh, okay. Okay, so that worked. Let's see if the website has a error on it. Okay, all right, that worked. All right, so yeah, so I just can't blend TSX features with TS file features, I guess, which is interesting. I didn't know that was like a limitation, honestly. All right. Getting a little more organized, that's important, right? So now whenever we need to use those P tags, or I guess paragraph text, we now have a easy way to leverage that. So let's move on to the other side of this, which is our tag tag query, right? So we need a page that is capable of we need a page that is capable of rendering just the stories that have this absence, say, let's this tag. Okay, so let's think about how to write that query using our vision, right? So we want a type of story. Actually, let's go back, right? Because this is going to be a lot like the other one that we had in place originally. So we want a type of story where the slug.current, no, not the we just want to make sure that the slug is defined and that the ID is like this item is not a draft. We don't want to cap the count. We want to get everything back because we'll eventually infinite scroll this, right? So we want to make sure that the next thing we check is that the tag array has a very specific tag. So let's actually use the Grok cheat sheet. Say, let's just do a search for in, right? Because that's usually how you denote something is in an array in query languages. So yeah, see in, right? And then now, like we need to check if something is in a reference. So I think the way you do that is instead of doing the variable on the outside, I think you do the array on the outside. Yeah, you see, check this out, right? It's right here, right? Any document having a cast member referencing Sigourney as its person. So what we'll do is we'll say the tag name in, and then our tags array dot whatever, right? We'll say the tags array dot ref, really, right? So here, let's give that a shot. So it's gonna be and we need a slug name. Let's do, here we go, this is fine. Nope, not that. We need a tag name, actually. Wait, let's go back. Hang on. So, person underscore Sigourney Weaver. That looks like an ID. That's an ID. We need to go find our ID. So here, let's go to structure. We need the ID for this. So we're gonna go structure, tags, and just pick our absentious tag, and then we'll go to the inspector, and we'll find out what our ID is, right? So it's gonna be this. That's crazy. I'm not buying it. I don't know if that's right. Let's, instead of going to the, I'm gonna go to the raw JSON. All right, let's think about this. So we're gonna do, shoot, what information do we get back? All we get back is slug, right? So maybe that's what we compare? That doesn't feel right. Here's one example, right, where they're just saying anywhere in the tags array, right? But this is being really specific that they want a certain person whose ID is person underscore Sigourney Weaver. And I'm guessing that's them doing it intentionally that way. I don't know if we get that kind of exposure. So I'm gonna just do another search for in, right? The joins, I don't care for joins. Yeah. Um, yeah, this is one we might have to just figure out ourselves. I don't think they're giving us the exact thing that we're looking for. Because what we're really saying is that, and I'm surprised they're not giving this on a silver platter, but what we're really saying is that I want any, okay, so I wonder if I can do it based on this. Yeah, I totally can do it based on the slug. All right, let's try it based on the slug then. Let's do it. Let's try it based on the slug. I have a feeling I can do it based on the slug. So this is give me anything. This is give me any tag where the current slug is this absentia or whatever. But I bet I can do it like I can say, give me anything where the type is a story and the key of absentia is whatever is in the tags array dot underscore ref no dot slug dot current maybe. Maybe this is a stretch. Yeah. Because yeah, what you're saying is that something is in the array. So I need tags dot, and then this is a reference to that document. I'm gonna say ref. Not slug, but I'll say dot underscore. That was an ID though that they had for sure. I'm 100% positive that was an ID. So let me just do let's just get tags out of here real quick. So yeah, so there's tags. So it's gonna be tags array dot underscore ref, and then maybe it's dot underscore ref, and then dot slug dot current. Right. So damn it, this is tough. I don't know if I have access to my specific ID right now. My slug ID. All I have access to is my slug, my specific slug, but I can drill down. So into this tags array, I can drill down into yeah, I guess let's try in right here. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, right? And I can't remember how they got that. They have a really good ID value that they were using, and I don't remember how they did it, but the only ID I know of is this guy right here, which is like a really crazy ID. So let's just try this and see if that works. And we'll do it exactly how they did it. We'll just stop at reference. I have a feeling that's not gonna work. So in tags underscore ref, yeah. So we'll say this ID is one of the ones in there. Damn, it did work. So here, let's do title. And we don't even need description, but if this works, then I have a feeling I know how to do this. All right, yeah. So we need a way to extract. So right now we have our slug, but there's no way for us to get our slug ID, right? So one thing that we have working for us is we just wrote a query that will get us the current tag, okay? So in theory, I have everything I need when this query runs. I have everything I need to populate the rest of the page, basically. So if we go back over to our pages.tsx, right? Technically what I could do is say, once you have the tag, use the tag.id to get the other information you need, okay? So I think that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. So let's go back to the browser. Let's actually set this up more correctly, right? All right, let's go grab the query that we know is for all stories. Okay, we'll paste that in there. I think that's gonna work out of the box. It does. Okay, so now what we want to say is that there are these new rules that we care about. I'm always on the fence as to whether my ands should start at the next line or the current line. I'm gonna start them at the next line. Okay, so here we have that, and then this is ending that. Okay, so what we want to add here is some ID in, and then tags dot underscore ref, right? So if we were to go find one of these for real, like this guy, yeah, we got 12 items that came back now. Now all of these should be the items where that tag's real. Okay, so what we're saying is we need to add this and clause to our tags query. Okay, so go back to the IDE. Let's look at this. We have and slug current is that, and then when we want to do export const tags query is equal to, it's going to be, I'm actually going to make it, because it's not tags, right? It's going to be get stories for tag, right? Get stories for tag. So stories by tag, right? It's going to be that, and then it's going to literally look just like this. Okay, it's going to look a lot like that. However, it's going to now have an additional and criteria, right? It's going to say and like, now that you're done with the ID piece, it's going to say and $ ID, right? $ ID and tags dot underscore ref, right? There we go. Now we can close that out, and now we should have a stories by tag array that we can fetch content for. So if we do const stories, right? We can do const stories. It's equal to this same thing. Actually, yeah, that's what we'll call it. Story bank query. Story bank query. Okay, that's actually a really good name for it. Thank you, tab 9. And then now here, where we have tag query, we can actually do story bank query as well. And we know that the thing we need to pass in is going to be ID is equal to tag.id, right? So tag.id, tag.underscore ID. That's not working. So hang on, let me see what I have to pass it. Oh, tag.data.underscore ID. Okay, so boom. So now stories, if we do a console.log here. Yeah, we got it. All right, so now stories, it's going to be stories.data. So story bank is going to be stories is equal to stories.data. And then now I should be able to go over to our story bank and do something similar to what I did for the featured card. Actually, featured carousel is more like story bank. Stories. Go grab the sanity document. Okay. There's that. That looks good. Okay. All right. So that looks good. Now we need to start pulling everything in. We also want to project this the same way we did the other one, right? So let's go over to queries and steal this exact projection. That is a really good projection for stories. It has everything we need to render stories. So we'll project that. Looks like we have an issue here where stories is missing something. Oh, that's because this is an array of stories, right? So that's a lot better. Okay, so now if we head over to the story bank, we should be able to console log stories here. Yeah, okay, so we're getting stories. Now we just need to map this, right? So I think our story starts here. So we need to do stories. Hang on, let's actually spread this out a bit. So actually, no, never mind. So stories dot map. Yep, perfect. Actually, I'm not gonna reinvent that wheel either. We perfected that over here. So it's gonna be like this. And then that closes off, that closes off, and that closes off. Okay, so now we have that. And then now what we can do is just pull in story 1. Let's flatten this out, make it a little easier for those. All right, put that inside of there. Let's indent it correctly. Do I have something wrong? We're missing a parenthesis. No, we're missing what? We're missing a. No, not there, but here. We're missing it somewhere. So there's the. Oh no, we're not missing it there. There's map and there's story. Get rid of this. Make sure we don't have any weirdness. Okay, so we have open ending and close there. That's fine. Then we close this off here. So now we're missing, yeah, close parenthesis, and then we're missing that as well, right? So what doesn't it like about that? I'll have to look at it. That's fine. Yeah, that's still broken. Something's not right about it. All destructure elements are unused. What if I just did console.log all of them? Alright, no, it's still off. Something's still off about it. The void is not... oh, I have to return something. Oh, no, I am returning something, though. Oh, I see. No, I don't see. I thought I saw, but I don't. Okay, so... stories.map, and then... Here, let me just write this the normal way, because this is going to take too long to try and dissect it. So then now, I'll say an anonymous function that returns... Oh, the anonymous function does need to return something, duh. Yeah, my anonymous function is still on the hook for returning something. Alright, that's my bad. I keep doing silly things like that. Alright. Good. So now I want to go back to that first one I had. Okay, and then here I just want to say return. Then, okay, so now something's off this. Alright, so maybe we're missing some stuff. We have image. Oh, this is gonna... Sorry, it's got me crazy. It's like giving me false negatives right now, I'm pretty sure. But that's my own fault for trying to like speed run it. Let me just do it the long way. So first let's get rid of some of these added stories we don't need. Okay, so far so good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to add my stories .map, and then I'll just add a normal anonymous function here, and then I'll say return. Okay, so now that's clean. Here for the map section, I want to say story is the thing that no, I don't need story. I can destructure this. So I'm gonna say ID, well, underscore ID. Actually, I'm just gonna steal that part from the, I know I need all of that. Okay, and then now, slowly, I'm gonna start bringing everything over. So, and I think the problem is I didn't have a key on these elements. These all need to be keyed properly. So far, so good. Actually, I'm gonna slowly get rid of the bottom, the divs as I bring them over to the dark side. So this goes here. Oh wait, no, not there. This goes here. Actually, yeah, well, I'll just start. Okay, and then start this. Yeah. Right, and then yeah, see, if that's working, then why did I have to keep? Hang on. Now I don't want to do it all manually if it's all gonna just work if I copy and paste it. Yeah, it works. Like, so annoying. Wrong with my there we go. All right. I think that is officially done. Okay, so now we have a array of stories, right? We're not doing anything with it yet, but let's at least go to the site and see if it's working as expected. All right. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh. Browser. So yeah, so we have a bunch of stories. They're all static, but at least we have a bunch of stories, right? So now let's go back to the IDE and let's make this real, right? Let's make this real. So the first thing to do is we are going to head over to our, I think this most closely resembles the image on the story wall. So we'll just grab the image from here. And we remember we use the same aspect ratio, so I should be able to do that. And then we'll import image URL 4 the same way we did it for the featured card. So we'll grab it from here. We'll also grab normal component. No, we don't need normal component. We have an excerpt that we're going to be using for that. So URL 4 is there. Let's get the destructured version of that, that object. That's going to be here. And the story wall doesn't need featured media, so we can actually drop that. This guy won't need featured media either, so we can drop that from here as well. It'll need everything. So far so good on the thumbnail. Let's see if that works on the site. And almost, right? Looks kind of weird because we still have the other image on top, so let's get rid of that. Let's go back to the IDE. We left that other image tag in there, I'm guessing. Yeah. Let's get rid of that, save it, just make sure this looks good now. Yeah, that looks way better. All right. So we need to fix our image sizes. Let's go back to 430 by 247. So 430 by 247, and then here we'll just set this to 430. That should even up the space. There was like some space below. Oh, and we also need the class name of call span 1, don't we? We got to remember that. I think next time I'll just steal from the DOM that I'm working with instead of the other way around. It's going to be a little easier to deal with. All right, there we go. Back to the browser. And yeah, that's starting to look a little better. I don't love my image sizes there. They feel a little off to me. But we'll deal with that when we're done making all of this content real. Let's start with the form ipsum. No, this is just going to be portable text. No, it's not portable text. It's just going to be the summary, actually. So inside of the p tags, I have just summary. Let's see what that looks like in the browser. All right, that looks not so bad. Okay, let's tackle the title. And this is where we can kind of just use whatever we did here for some of this stuff, right? Title. And then this is going to be person.name.first, person.name.last. We actually did like we have the middle name in it. The person's image, basically the same as this. Yep, I think that's good actually. We don't have any classes on that either. Okay, let's see what that looks like in the browser. Yep, that looks good. I do notice that the image is too small in quite a few places too. So we're gonna need to get our image to be a little bigger here. I'm sort of tempted to go back to the image that we had it on the story wall, 635 by 365. I say we try that, and let's just see what that looks like. And if it looks horrible, then we'll change it back. It doesn't look horrible, however, it still looks like it's too small. And where, let me just make sure our image rules are being respected, right? So of the 800 pixel image, you want me to get you a width of 640? Yeah, that's about right. It just can't accommodate for it in this space, right? So maybe what we do is we bump up the call span. Let's say 2 here. Maybe we can say 2 and okay, so let's go back on our width and height, right? Let's go back and then let's actually bump this to, okay, so the whole thing's going to be a 5 column grid. We'll say this takes up 2 and the other one takes up 3. Let's see if that gives us better spacing. That does a little bit, but now it looks like there's a bunch of white space, right? Yeah, so that shows you the grid that we're working in. And yeah, it just looks like it's unbalanced. Right? Because look where that starts, right? That starts like way over here. We could just do 3 columns. Let's see what the 3 column grid gives us if we do 3, 1, and 2, right? So 3 here, and we just say this is a 1 column area and this is going to be the rest. Right? How that looks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, that's the one. All right, and then I say we add borders in between these. So maybe on each of these, add a border bottom on each container. Let's see how the container separation is. So the container separation isn't great. We'll have to add some bottom padding and get rid of some of the margin bottom. So let's say the bottom padding is going to be maybe 6. Maybe 4. Yeah, so 4 is not enough, is it? It'll have to be 8. And I think there's an issue with processing that, right? So I'm gonna get rid of the margin bottom altogether for now. We'll get back to margin bottom, but for now, let's just do padding bottom 8 and see what we're working with. Whoops, save that. Let's go back to the browser. All right, so it's not enough, right? So let's double that. Let's do 16. Do 16. So there is no 16. We need to go find out what the actual tailwind do padding, and then we need to do, so we did 8, and 8 wasn't enough, which is 32. So what was 12? Because 12 is, we need half of 12, right? 12 is 48, we need 24. Yeah, we need 24. But we need 24 top and bottom though, so PY. Yeah, we need PY 24, which is, PY 24 is gonna give us, where is it? PY, no, it's 28, well, 6. PY 6 will do it for us. So PY6, if I save that, go back over to the site. Yeah, there we go. So that's more like it, right? PY6. Now what's happening here is we have top and bottom padding, right? So now what we can do is we can get rid of some of this top margin now, right? We can say the top margin is just 4. So now it's not too close to the main container, right? But it's not that far either. So we'll say the top is 4, and then we'll just do PY6. And now what this allows us to do though, now that we're using padding instead of margin, we can actually add a divider in between these rows and give it the appearance that they're separate, they're individual entities. I'm actually going to increase that by even more, because when this line gets there, I don't want it to look that snug. So what I'll do first is I'll add our border. So let's just make sure we know how to add a border. It's going to be, I think it's going to be border and then 2, or just border. It's just going to be border. So let's just try border, and then border color. Oh, not that. I want border color. Right, so border dash black. Okay, so let's go back to the app and let's see if we can do all that from here actually. Let's say border and then border black. Actually we only want bottom border though, right? So let's see how we do that. Border. Yeah, there we go. So border, where's bottom? Bottom is gonna be what? This is left and right. Where's just left or right or bottom or whatever? Yeah, here we go. So border, it's probably border dash B. Yeah, border dash B black. Okay, cool. So let's do border dash B dash black. All right, let's actually. All right, come back to the site. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then we'll get rid of this border rule. Yeah, so let's get rid of border altogether. Border is putting it around all 4 sides. We don't want that. Oh no, border wasn't putting it around all 4 sides. Border was just putting it there in general. Well, I kind of still see a border now. Yeah, I totally see a border here. Hang on, we have to fix this because I definitely see a border. We have border width. Oh, I got it. Just border dash B, and then yeah, I got it. So it's gonna be border dash B to say that I only want a bottom width border, and then that should now, yeah, there we go. So now we only have the separation. However, I don't like that prominent black separator. I want it to be kind of light gray. So I'm gonna go with a different color here. So let's go border color. I don't think we need to do that. And let's use maybe Slate 300, shall we? Use Slate 300. All right, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that looks better. I'm gonna increase the width of it to 2. Or maybe even more than that, now that I think about it. I might, yeah, let's try border 2, and then if that doesn't look too good, we'll try something else. I'm gonna head back to the IDE, and I'll do border B2. And now back in the browser. That's fine. That's totally fine. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. But they already look separate, aren't they? Yeah, they did kind of look separate, but at the same time, I did feel like that they were bleeding together a little bit. Like just for me, that just in my mind, they were bleeding together. They were bothering me. I'm actually gonna make that even brighter. I barely want to notice that the border is even there, right? Like I want it to be really, really like fading into the background. So I am gonna do. Let's go to just this background color so we can see visual. I'm gonna go even beyond that, right? I might go 50. Let's try 100 first, and if 100 is still too prominent, we'll go 50. Wait, not that one. This one. Whoops. I changed the wrong one. It's actually the slave. Okay. There we go. It's just barely noticeable. All right, let's put our topics in before we handle our links. I think we have that link already. That is weird that that is not a cursor. Oh, I don't have it linking right now. Even though I have the class to link, it's not a link. Because we need to put the link over everything, and we're gonna do this the same way we did it on the other one we did. So I think it was right after our summary. And let's import that link. Okay, so that should clear that error. Now let's go back to the site. Yep, there we go. So now that whole row is clickable. Let's go ahead and do our summary as well. Go back to the IDE. Go to our story wall, grab that URL. It's going to be the same. That goes around everything, right? That goes around the, well, not everything. This is structured a little differently. So we'll put it around the slug. Yeah, just around all of this, right? Just around all of this in the summary. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, and then we'll just tuck that stuff neatly away in there. Never know it exists, right? Man, I swear, when I'm doing these demonstrations on here, I'm starting to feel like, what's that guy's name with the crazy hair he used to paint? Talking about his secret pictures. In same page, you can work with multiple and different library at the same time. Yes, you can, absolutely, and you should. And you should. Not CSS libraries, though. I actually would recommend against multiple CSS libraries. But if you have multiple libraries that do different things, right, then absolutely. Like, for example, we're working with our Next library. We're working with Sanity. We're working with the components and stuff from shadcn. Like, we have a bunch of different things, a bunch of different features that together make up this one story bank component, right? And then remember, our story bank component is one of two components that make up the whole page, right? Well, not the whole page, but the content of the page. However, if you go to our layout, we can see that that's even made up of more components, right? So we have the header, and then we have the featured card, and then we have the story bank, and then we have the footer. So you want to mix and match those because React is so efficient at delivering and rendering and updating only what's needed to be updated as the users peruse the experience, that you want to take advantage of all of these different libraries that exist. You don't have to worry about performance or anything like that. It's going to be fine. Your goal is just to make these things the most convenient, as convenient as possible for your developers, right? So that as they're working through your stuff, it's easy to understand, it's easy to edit. If there's an error, it's easy to debug, etc. Right? So let's head back over to the page. I think we're almost good, right? Let's refresh that. I feel like we're not linking correctly there. Let me go back to the IDE now and see why that's not linking. Oh, we're not capturing the summary. Okay, let's go back to the browser and just make sure. Yep, there we go. That's what we would expect, right? So now I'm going to put that same link around the image. That exact same link. I'm just going to link this image. Okay, and then here I'll add a little secret pocket for the image. Okay, and then I'll indent that. Whoa, I'll indent that properly. Okay, and then last but not least, we need to actually do our title, our topic, right? So that's another thing that we don't have to recreate that wheel. We've already been here. As a matter of fact, I think even the styles are the same. Red font bold 100. Go back to the IDE. So on the story bank, we have our eyebrow as 500 bold, 2 pixels bottom, and then text is large. So the only thing missing here is the 2 pixels bottom. So yeah, we'll use this basically as is, and then add the bottom, not 2 pixels bottom, but margin bottom 2. All right, that was all that was missing there. All right, so yeah, that's right. Did I get rid of something? I don't know why it keeps jumping like that. Really odd. All right, so obviously we can't link the topic in here. We have to put the topic outside because it has its own URL, but everything else in there can stay linkable. So I'll go back to the browser, and now I should be able to get to this Confido page. Perfect. These are all my Confido stories. Now, the main topic, like the first topic that shows up, is Subito Absidio. But if we go look at this story, if we go look at this story right here, right? This guy right here, one of its tags is Confido Triumphus Delgado. So let's just confirm that. Let's go to structure, stories, and then let's actually find this guy and just confirm that in its list of tags, yep, Confido Triumphus, right? So as we add more content, we'll see a lot more variety. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to actually create 100 stories tonight. So I'll do 10 batches of 10, and I'm going to bump up the, yeah, let's think about that, right? So I'm going to say that we're going to have 20 people, 20 tags, and then I'm going to do 10 batches of 10 to get 100 pieces of story content, and I'm going to let that run. Actually, I'm going to take a break right now because we're done with this ticket, and I'm going to submit. Let me push this code up because we're good. This is exactly what we would want, right? This is working as expected. Yep, this is working as expected, right? This is a completely dynamic section front. It's not infinitely scrolling, but we'll get to that in a second. For now, what we want to do is complete our sprint, right? We want to complete these stories in our sprint. So we're almost done with this. Let's push the code for this, and then we'll look at this, and then we'll hopefully have some time left over tonight to finish the sprint. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop all of the apps. I'm going to make it so that I only have one window open. Let's clear this out. And now we'll actually commit the code that we changed, right? So here it looks like we added a thumbnail field to the story content type. Okay. And remember, take notes of everything you do. Everything you touch and change, make sure you take note. It'll help you understand where you're changing, but also it'll help future you and future developers understand what you did and why you did it. Okay. So this is update content creation scripts to account for new schema changes. Okay. Page.tsx. Complete the oh no, this is optimize. Okay, so this is basically optimize homepage query and data data delivery or data. Let's just say optimize homepage query for components. And this is basically complete section front, complete tags section. All right, and then the featured carousel, what do we do? Oh, featured card, add featured card component, or complete. We already added it on the last ticket. And then complete story bank component. Improve the story. Wait, what do we do to the story wall? Yeah, okay. Improve the story wall rendering. It's not really an improvement, right? It's update story wall rendering per latest schema updates or changes. And then the portable text utility, create new portable text utility. And then move URL helper to tils.ts. And then finally optimize all queries. So create new tag and story bank queries. Then optimize all queries. All right, and now we are ready to commit this code and push it in. So I am going to do this. Nothing looked like a surprise to me. So let's do a git commit -m for trend junk. I don't remember what branch this was. So git branch git commit -m for trndjnke-20 complete tags section. That was the purpose of this. Let's go ahead and push that in, and then we'll go merge it. What type of file are you writing on? This file is just a blank VS Code file. How will you save your code to GitHub? That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, so Linval, let me explain this real quick. That's a really good question, and I want this for the video, for the long form video. So the question from Linval was, how will you save your code to GitHub? And we've done this a few times as we were developing night after night, right? So the first thing we do is we identify all the things that we changed, right? So we made a note here and just put it in a raw text document. So another thing Linval asked is, what type of file are you writing on? And this was just like literally, if you hit Control New or Apple New, or Control N or Apple N, you'll just get a blank file on VS Code, and I just start typing, right? So it's really just meant to be like a place that I keep some notes. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure you have a active branch checked out. So if we go back over to my my GitHub, right? Go close that. and we look at my branches, we can see that I have a branch, right? That's active, that I'm working on. That's this guy right here. So when I copy this, I come back to the IDE and I do a git checkout. And that makes it so that whatever changes I make can be saved to that branch, right? So the next thing that you do is you need to actually, after you make all your changes and confirm that they're good to go, you need to commit those changes. And all that does, that doesn't put it in a code base. When you commit your changes, that basically saves the changes to your local repository. So like if I wanted to open a new folder, a new project, and I wanted this code, I can pull that branch and I'll be able to get back my changes, right, locally. However, the remote repository doesn't have it until you run git push. But now that I've ran git push, if we go look at the code here, we'll see that my change got pushed up. And this is now awaiting for an admin to review it, right? Which I'll do the admin exercise now, right? So I'm gonna click that. Oh wait, sorry, I'm not in the browser. Let me go in the browser so you guys can see that. So basically, if you come over to code, you'll see this message magically pops up, right? Trend Junkie 20, blah, 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 had recent pushes 2 minutes ago, right? So this is basically letting you know as an admin that someone has contributed code to your code base, okay? So then the next thing you do is you hit compare pull request. And then from here, you can actually scroll down, and I always like to do this, right? Even though I know the changes I made, I want to make sure these are the changes I expect. So, because sometimes some funky files can come in and that you don't want and things like that. So now what I'm seeing is, all right, this is the story.ts update that I made, adding that thumbnail image. That's good. These are the changes that I made to the data creation service. That's fine. Yep, that looks good. Okay, this is the page.tsx I made, the homepage.tsx updates that I made to optimize that. That looks good. This is going to be our section TSX file. That looks good, right? So then you just keep scrolling down in your head, asking yourself, like, well, what is that green piece for? Green denotes a change, right? So in your head, you need to be asking yourself, like, remind me mentally, what did I do with this green change? Oh yeah, that's right. That was needed for this, or that was needed for that, or like whatever the case may be. And yeah, so we have a bunch of different things here. I need to go add IDs to those section tags actually. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm surprised I didn't get yelled at for it in the IDE. But like, if we go back to the IDE and we go to my my story bank, you'll see I don't have any keys here. But usually when you're iterating over items and you're like repeating DOM, you should always add an ID here. So I'm gonna just do the same thing I did here because I know my ID value is always unique. I'm just gonna add this key here. Jeez. All right. So much for copy pasting. All right, there we go. Boom. All right, so now that's good. So I'll go ahead and push that up too. All right, and then I'll just say git commit -m trnd jnkee -20 adds key to repeating DOM and storybank component. Okay, then I'll git push that, and now I'll also have those changes added to this pull request, right? So I won't need a new pull request for this. If I do a refresh on this, we'll see that I have that new change is going to be in here somewhere. So let's take a look at it. There's the story bank file, and there's our change, right? Automatically shows up. Really cool. Okay, so then I think this is good to go. I'm almost at the bottom here. Let me just finish this being thorough. Yep, that looks good. Great, love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, cool beans, all good. Now I'm going to merge this into the main branch. But first I will add my notes. IDE. No, let's come back over to, yeah, the IDE actually. Where I was. I didn't leave the IDE. We'll copy our notes. We'll go back to the browser. All right, and then I am going to make this a little more reader friendly by adding that, and then we'll take Grammarly's suggestions. I am a huge fan of Grammarly. any automation that I can do, that anything I can do myself, right? So, and that's the really important thing about me using automation tools. Like, if I can do it myself, then I don't want to have to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. If I don't understand how to do it, I don't want an AI doing it for me. I want to learn how to do it. I want to get it embedded into my brain. But if I already know how to do it like the back of my hand, like, for example, updating this text to be more grammatically correct, then I don't need to do that if someone else is going to do that for me. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, as a developer, you always want to pick and choose when you're ready to start like using what the community has put together versus you struggling on your own for a bit. Like right now, I'm pretty sure a lot of what we're doing in Sanity can be done by tools in the community or just us Googling some of these solutions. But in order for us to learn, right, it's way better if we just do it ourselves. So that code has been, this code has been merged, not merged, but the PR, the pull request has been submitted. Now the next thing to do is an admin would usually go through the changes. Okay, they'd go through these changes themselves. And as you can see, this is the code base here. These are the things that we changed, right? It's only going to be the specific things that we changed. They would go through these and make sure that it's okay. We are the admin. No, we just did that exercise on the other page. So I'm just going to come down and merge this ticket, right? So I'm going to go to conversation, scroll down. We have this branch has no conflicts with the base. And now I'm going to merge it back into main. And we're done. And now we can kick off this 100-piece content import and come back and see if we can finish this last ticket tonight before it's over. All right, so that said, I am going to go get some water, kick this job off, and hopefully it doesn't take too long to create this content. All right, I'm gonna open as big as it can go. Let's clear this out. Let's start generating some data. done. Almost done. Oh man. A batch 8. And this story page is going to be a beast. We are definitely doing person next. I can't even envision myself doing the story page first. Person has to come next. That's going to be way easier to knock out, but yeah. I think that for the next sprint, so we were 1 day off, I think. I think we were 1 day off of our sprint goal. And our content is done being generated. So let's head back over to the browser before we close this out, right? So I'm gonna do a start application and then we'll load this thing up. Let's go back to the browser. Scrum board here and load this up. And now we should be able to see a lot more content, which we do. And it's still fast though, right? The page still loads almost instantly. That's what I love about NextJS and React. Like even though we have hundreds of images on this page, it's still clever enough to load these lazily. So let's actually see what we're getting back as far as performance hit, right? So if we hit our network tab here, we can kind of see the waterfall. We'll just load this up and see how quickly that loads. That loads so fast. Where are all the filters? Okay, that's okay. All right. Well, I guess it's here, but it's in a weird way. So let's do that one more time. Whoops. Let's go all, and then we'll do. Alright, so it looks like our local host there loaded in 700 milliseconds with 100 large images on it. Okay, this thing has really big images. We should have 5 images here. They all are already ready to go. And then the scroll here is just fine, right? So if we click one of these, Cubo Cantina, for example, so we have a huge image there. This is a little lengthy for my taste. I need to fix this. This is actually gonna start to bother me after a while. We need to just put an overflow on this and make the height, give it a set height, and then like a max height, not a set height, but a max height, and then set the overflow to hidden and put it on scroll. But yeah, I think for now that is fine. Yep, that image was lazily loading in. But these are all the stories that have been tagged with that particular term. Go to a different section. There could be more, could be less. Yep, so there's all the ones that are tagged with that term. And I love how, even though the item shows up, you can clearly see that this belongs to a different primary section though. Right? That's what this comus is. Comus is the primary section, like the first section for this Uredo, Adsum, Stella. But one of the sections is this, right? So then the next thing we need to tackle is our people, right? The person content. Yep, and there's our authors, but it looks like our authors aren't following the name convention, so we need to fix that in our create method. Yeah, we need to fix that in our create method. So I'm gonna close this ticket out. I think that we are officially done with this work. Woohoo. Woohoo, we're officially done with this work. All right, that is really good to see. All right, I'm gonna set that to done. And now we are going to move this guy to in progress. And we're going to do a couple things first, right? So let's actually get a little more organized here. I'm going to come to the IDE and we're going to take note of everything we're about to fix, right? So the first thing we're going to fix is properly link person. I'll just say fix author links on the section page. And then let's just go back to the browser and see if it's also broken like that on the home page. So if I come back here, go home, and click on, hover over this, yeah, we're not seeing the right people. So it's not that the slugs are wrong, it's that in our create method, we didn't do the slug right. The other thing we need to do is on the section page, we need to account for lengthy divs here, right? Lengthy containers. So here what we'll say is that we'll find one of these that's like in the sweet spot. Because when you think about it, if this was as deep as it got, hang on, let's play around with this real quick. Because in theory, right, if this didn't get too deep, we might be in good shape. So I'm gonna do copy paste here. I'm gonna do like maybe 5 of those. Okay, so now we can see it bleeding out, right? So if I had to say there was a sweet spot, it would probably be where? Maybe one less, right? So maybe one less paragraph. Okay, that's kind of a sweet spot. So if it ever gets higher than that, I want to start scrolling instead, right? So the rule needs to be if the container is taller than, no, let's do percentages for this. So right now that's 427, but let's see if we can figure out the percentage for that. So I guess the first thing to do would just be to so let's do and then this is going to be fix overflow scroll on section page. All right, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the story bank. And no, it's not the story bank itself, right? It's going to be the featured card. So here we want to say that the featured cards text container, which is this guy right here, we need to add a div around this. Which, no, wait, it already has a div. Yeah, it already has a div, which is this guy. So we need to say this has a specific height. So let's say height is gonna be 1/4, and let's see what that looks like on the browser. That's way too small. Let's say height is 2/4. Oh, that's too small as well. Let's do 3/4. Yeah, so let's say height can go no longer than, and we'll do top of 12 maybe. No, we need to get even deeper on the top, so let's say 16. All right, we'll do top 20. Let's do 18. 16, then it's the next all list. Yeah, so we'll do 16 is always going to be the top. The max height, so instead of height here, I think we can do max height. Yeah, max height. And then let's see if we can do an overflow scroll. Overflow. It's not text overflow, it's just regular overflow. And we want to see overflow hidden. And not all overflow, right? We know there's never going to be a a y-axis overflow, or is it that they? Yeah, there's never going to be an x-axis overflow, so it's only going to be y. We're going to do overflow y hidden. Okay, so we'll do overflow y hidden, which tells it that if the text ever does get too long, just cut it off, like halfway, cut it off before it gets too long, right? So if we do this now. Let's go back and edit that as HTML. Let's copy a bunch of these in. We can put 1 million of these in here, right? And it should never get, okay, it still got 2. I mean, does that need to be X? Maybe the max height is right. Yeah, it's definitely max dash age. And what did we say? Max dash age 16? Oh, I see. We did 3/4. Is that a thing? No, it's not a thing. Okay, it's not a thing, right? So we need to do max dash H and then something else. So we can do percentages, but we don't need to do that. All right, let's just do the max height is what? 20? Max height 20? All right, so that's way too small. That's way too small. Let's go back to Tailwind. Okay, so let's say the max height can be 40. But double that isn't going to be enough, right? So maybe it has to be like 140. Nope. That's way too long. Actually, that number doesn't exist, which is why it's just breaching out the entire container now. 52. See, we need percentages though. This is not gonna work. Let's see max H fit. What does that look like? Yeah, that's still gonna go as the need. Let's see. How about max? I don't know if that's gonna work. I wish I had a way of controlling this differently. I mean, max H full. All right, let's just use height. The problem with the fixed height though is you can't do with this. Yeah, the biggest one is 96. Yeah, that's fine. 96. There. And then I'll just increase the top a bit. I'll increase the top to 20. Maybe 22 if they have it. 24. Alright, that's perfect. 24 it is. And then now we'll do a scroll on this. So scroll. Yeah, overflow scrolling if needed. Yeah, here we go. So overflow Y auto. So auto means only do it if it's needed, which is what we want, right? There it is. Now if we go to one of these that's already long enough, right? There's no scrolling on this now. But for anyone that is going to be really long, it's going to automatically get that scroll on it. Really good. Yep, so here's an example of one that got the scroll. Something with this scroll bar design? That's awful. All right, that looks good though. We can definitely style that scroll bar. I'm not going to. I don't think we need to. Let me just see what they have though. Yeah, I'm not interested. All right, so that's fine. Let's move on to the next thing now. So we knocked out the two things. Well, the first thing on our list, that height issue, and then now let's fix the anchor links on the section page. So if we go to this, I think that's going to be in the story bank, and the author links were where? Were here. The person slug current. That's not the problem then, right? Problem is if we come into the create data method, go to the person creator or builder rather. Yeah, we're not keeping this, right? So this is really what it is. So here what we need to do is we need to say let first name equals this faker first name to lowercase. No, just faker first name. And then now we can use this as our actual first name, right? So if we go to name right here, instead of using that, we can use first name. Same thing for last. And last name. Okay, so now whatever that name is, it's always going to be that last name now. I think we also are forcing a middle name on them. Yeah. So we're going to do middle as well. Okay. And then now what we're going to say is that the slug is actually equal to first name dash middle name if it exists dash last name, right? We'll always have a middle name, so we don't need to do the conditional logic that I just mentioned, but you could write a ternary in between these that says that your middle name will only exist if there is a middle name. But we'll always have a middle name because that's what we're doing, right? We're telling it to always provide a middle name, so we're gonna always provide that. So let's just start swapping these out. The slug is actually gonna be first name to lowercase plus can be last name to lowercase, but before that we're gonna actually say plus, right, middle name to right, and then plus the last. Okay, so now that's what slug actually is. So if we come back down here to our actual slug value, that's what's going to be being pulled in now for that slug, that lowercase variation. It's going to be the exact same as our author name on the front end, which is what's important, that those names match. So if we have an author, for example, of Teresa Buddy Behan, then the URL should be lowercase Teresa dash whatever her middle name is in the back end dash Behan, right? The word Willow and all that shouldn't show up in her URL. Okay. All right. But today is not about creating the person page. Okay. And I'll do grooming by myself tomorrow. I think today, what we need to figure out is a path forward to moving our story elements from standalone components to being something that is found within the WYSIWYG editor. So throughout this process, so far at least, we have not done any work on the story elements besides create them, right? We built them out. And as a refresher, let's just go through what it looks like to build story elements today. So let's go ahead and fire up our application. Right now we have the web app running, but let's fire up the actual Sanity Studio. Okay, let's open that in the browser and let's see what this looks like. The editing experience is not great, right? Like that's why we're here in the first place. We want to do something better with this editing experience. Let's collapse this, let's collapse this. And then now if we head over to story elements, right? This is our editing experience, right? We'll go add an item and we can choose between a CTA, media, gallery, text, whatever we want, right? So if I wanted a text component, I'll say, hey, this is some cool text. Actually, a better example would be, let's go to IGN and let's steal a real one, right? So what they have here, nope, not a good example. Let's go here. Okay, this is a good example. What they have here is they have some rich text elements, right? Followed by a video element, so a media element, followed by more rich text, followed by what can only be looked at as a block quote, followed by more rich text, followed by an image element, and then more rich text, right? So if we were to create this in our experience, we'd have our first set of rich text here, right? So that's done. That's in place. Okay, then we can go ahead and why is the photo in it? Next. What? That's weird. Photo should not be required for a text block. Let's fix that real quick. I don't know where that came from, but if we come into, I think it's going to be in shared elements. Should be something in here that denotes a text component. Text element. Yeah, this is totally wrong. Okay, there's no time you would ever do this. I'm gonna get rid of all of these. That's none of this relevant for text component. I think that just comes from me copy pasting at some point. Yeah, we have this pre here, which yeah, that is. All right, let's fix that. And then now let's go back to the IDE, I mean to the browser, to the studio, and head over to story elements. Now, if we click text, it should just be that rich text field. So then the first thing we had on that IGN site was the rich text, followed by this like video, right? This is like a video. So imagine we clicked here, media, from media, we you know, add our title, some video title, and then we say cool video description, okay? And then from here we go media, and we add either a video or an image. Okay? So we add video, we say some video, video description. This is a little redundant, I'll admit. This is a little redundant because you're either gonna share content or you're not. Like, that's the reality, right? So, and what I mean by that is the way I have this set up, right, is this setting it up this way would allow someone to create a field, right? That's like for example, even this field right here, right? When we're adding these, let's say I click media. Adding it this way means that I could potentially create a query that says you can either choose from any other media that I found in our system, or you can just add your media inline. Now, as I'm thinking through this more though, I don't need to go that complicated, because if someone wanted to reuse media, they would just have me create it as a document, right? As a official content type, right? And then you could do the same thing in that sense too, right? You could create that media on the fly, right? If I were to, let's see, what's a piece of related content here? Let's go all fields. Tags, right? So if I were to add item here, I can create a tag right now on the fly. Yeah, dude, that's so, okay, all right, yeah. So not only are our related elements overcomplicated, we also need to get them in the WYSIWYG. So let's focus on the WYSIWYG today, but obviously we're gonna be doing some cleanup there. I'm gonna remove that. So we added text. Let's see what gallery looks like. So gallery is pretty flat, right? You add your content and then you add a bunch of images, right? And then image 1 has a title, a photo, alt text, and caption. And then you'll add image 2, image 3, image 4, and so on and so forth. And I don't know if images actually need a title. I don't know if images need a title. Well, maybe they do, right? That's fine. Maybe I'll, instead of images having titles, maybe I'll just use their file name, which I think I can get from Sanity. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. But so let's actually add one more. Let's add a gallery, I guess. Gallery description. And we'll add like one image, right? Image 1. Let's do some promo material for this. Junkie images. Oh, a favorite. Bro versus bro. All right. Caption here doesn't matter. We'll just. All right. Okay, so now we have a gallery as well, right? And that's kind of how you would do it. That's how you would edit this, right? You would, Like keep adding different elements and then they'd stack like this. The problem is there's no visual representation this way. Like this looks really like dated. The display here looks extremely dated, right? So instead, what I want to do is I want to make it so that if you're editing in a WYSIWYG like this, for example, that when you're editing the story elements WYSIWYG, you have those options in here. So I could add my text and then perhaps create a new line, right? And then add the image element right then and there. So that's what we're going to figure out tonight is how do we get to that state? All right. And I hope that it's just something really easy because that would make that 8-point ticket go a lot faster. But we only have 30 minutes left. I'm a hard stop at 11. So let's see if we can figure out. Let's go schema block. I know the type of content is a block, but the question is, how do I get more than just that one block in there? Is the question. So here's the customization stuff that we were seeing, and this is customizing it for the UI, right? So I imagine what this is going to allow us to start doing is we're going to be able to say, like right now we're about to figure out how to make it so that you can choose different elements, but that's not going to have any sort of look and feel. But I imagine we're going to be able to control like what components get rendered, pull those in. That's my guess. Hopefully it works that way, and it's all. So where's the here we go. Learn more about how to configure the rich text editor. Add custom blocks. So example, to add images to portable text, append a new type object to the array as such. So array of blocks and image. Oh, and then you just get it in a little pop-up here. Selecting an image inserts the block with a preview in the portable text editor. You can drag the image and drop it in its designated position. You can also edit. Okay, is it actually that simple? See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if it is that simple, then we're done. Like, problem solved. So let's go to the IDE. Let's go over to our story.ts and let's go find our elements field, story elements, and let's see how they did that real quick. So they said it's gonna be an array of type block, but then also underneath that block they have a type image. So for us, right, in the IDE here, it's gonna be an array of type block. Kind of how they did it, it looks like. And then also of type gallery element. And maybe because you have block in general, hang on, let's just do something simple first. Let's just add block here. And we know we're getting rid of media. So let's delete that. Now let's see how this works. Do this foundation error. And then now let's head back over to the studio and see what that looks like. Okay, so now story elements. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted, right? This looks like what we want. So the question is, where's my text, right? So, all right, that's fine. If I come here, no, let's go back to IGN. Go here. All right. Now Insanity, I'm working. I'm here. All right, there's my Disney stuff. Now I'm like, all right, I need to add a CTA. Yep, so CTA here. Where'd it go? Okay, here. Some CTA description. All right, and then I can close that. All right, so that's not bad. Right, that's not bad. That's the CTA I wanted. Okay, and then hello world, right? Yeah, that's not bad. And then now let me get a gallery going. Okay. So gallery. All right, that's weird that that keeps happening. It just snaps me out of it. But gallery title, I gotta fix that. Some gallery description. And we'll do an image element, right? So we'll add an image. So say image 1. And then we'll upload this guy. Just give it anything. Doesn't but right. Say image alt. Say, hey, this is a cool caption. Okay. And now that should complete our gallery. So yeah, and it's tucked in between these paragraphs. It's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so let's take, what we'll do is we'll take this second paragraph, right? And what we'll do is we'll add it like right here instead. Let's add this. Oh, that's so cool, dude. That is so cool. So then I'm guessing the next thing you would do is just figure out how to render this, right? Because I imagine if I publish this change, okay, and then I go to my inspector, I can see the raw JSON version, right? So actually, let's just do this. Let's grab. Oh no, and they have the parse version. Let's go. So check this out, right? So this is one of my blocks. This is just text. This is the description. This is the description. Go to the elements. So story elements, right? This is one of my blocks. It was just text. Okay, it's a type of span. But it's really, this is going to be that normal style, right? Yeah, normal style. So that, awesome, right? Good for you. And then here's a CTA element, right? So now I can write a rule for this. Just like I wrote a rule for block normal, I can write a rule for CTA element normal. Right? And I believe when I write that rule for it, I can actually tell it like to use a certain component markup, like React markup. Right? Because if we go back to the IDE, the way we did it on that other one, the way we did it on the what did we do it on? Jeez. We did it on what, featured or story bank, one of those. Let's just look in the actual portable text user. Yeah, so imagine this, right? This is just React. This is just TSX coming back. And children is just whatever was inside of the component that I had. Man, I think we are on to something. Okay, so I think we figured that out. That's enough for tonight. Our 8-point ticket does not need an 8-point ticket. I'm gonna close that out as if we did 8 points of work here. I'm gonna say, I'm actually gonna add a comment here stating that all the answers you seek are on these docs, right? So I'll go here, and then let's do another one. Let's say full text. Yeah, dude, this is it. This is the type of shit right here. This is an exact example of what we're trying to do, but just for you specifically. But that's literally what we want to do. I think this is the one we have in there, right? The text editor configuration. Yeah, so let's see if we can try and find one more doc. And we'll close that out because this is just going to require we do it now. Like, this is really simple. And we can tone down what we're doing too. We don't need many things. We can just do image, YouTube video, and CTA and text, right? We don't need more than that. And we don't need them to be reusable either. We don't need that crazy thing I was thinking about. I did have a really crazy idea for that, to be honest. All right, and then we'll do the intro. All right, I'm gonna mark this as done. Save our comment. And then, yeah, I'm gonna mark this as done. And I am going to officially say we are done with our sprint. We have to start a new sprint. Let's say we'll start the new sprint Friday. And we'll give ourselves, started this one on January 17th and we ended on February 7th. So that's almost a month. It's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Somewhat. Yeah, so 1, 2, so that's 3 weeks total, right? 3 weeks time. So if we start on Friday to the 16th is 1, 16th to the 23rd is 2, and the 23rd to March 1st is 3 weeks, right? So we'll give ourselves 3 weeks, but this time we will make sure that we don't do more than 30-something points of work, right? So 3, 8, 11, 13, 15, 18, 26, yeah, 34 points is our benchmark. So let's actually add that to our Canva board. I think we should add that to our Canva board. Our velocity, our official velocity that we're gonna document for now is going to be our official velocity is going to be official velocity 34 points per sprint. Sprints are 3-week sprint cycles and 34 points. That makes sense to me. I'm gonna bump this up 60 points bigger. This will be what we live by going forward. All right, there we go. Full beans. All right, so we did pretty good this sprint. I'm not gonna say we did bad. We did pretty good. It's important to know like what our capacity is though, and whether we were like working like crazy. And I think we did kind of overdo it with that last 8-point ticket. That could have totally waited till Friday into the next sprint. But I'll make sure I groom out the current. I'll make sure I groom out the current. Wait, I just realized I wasn't sharing that Canva board. Yeah, I could tell I'm sleepy. I keep forgetting stuff. I'll groom out that. This is what I was building now. Velocity 3 weeks. Right. So I'll groom out our backlog before we hop on Friday. So hopefully I have a bunch of new tickets here. Well, we're almost done with the project, honestly. The next set of tickets that we're gonna need are the tickets for Vercel. We're basically done with like I highly anticipate us getting through most of the rest of this stuff. Like this right here, oh no, we didn't do this yet. We didn't. Yeah, so some of these are really big to tackle. Like they're really big items, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Like adding that preview feature to Sanity.io. And doing it with Next. Figure out a way to reuse existing story elements. That's what this just was. Oh no, never mind, that was a difference, right? Yeah, we're missing a lot of tickets actually. Yeah, I'm gonna glue them tomorrow. I'm gonna go through and add more items to the backlog as I think of them, and then I'll also glue these so that they have descriptions and we understand what they entail. But yeah, the next thing we're gonna do is the person design, and the person design is gonna look a lot like the current design that we have. The only difference with the person design is gonna be that that featured image at the top, that featured area. It's gonna look more like a Facebook profile where you have a cover photo, an image in a circle, and then like a biography, right? We're gonna steal that right from these guys, like what they did with theirs, right? So we go to Brinkhurst's page. We're gonna do exactly something like this. We're gonna have social icons, probably gonna show up under. All right, so that's been fun. We got really far today. Got a lot of work done. I'm happy about it. This was pretty helpful for me because I had a rough day during the day, so this was fun to get to. Hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Make sure you don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way. And until we meet again, stay tuned for more short form content too. Tomorrow I'll be uploading more short form content, and I guess I'll see you guys on Friday. So peace out to all of my junkies and junkettes.